Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Welcome. It's Saturday. It's noon-ish. You know what time it is. This is Grapsody. I, of course, am Phil Lindsey, and I am here with Righteous Reg. What's going on, brother?
In the building. That's a crazy way to start the show. In the building. It's your favorite rapper, writer, your favorite podcaster. I'm starting off crazy. Let me slow down here. There's a lot been going on this week. It's Media Man, Righteous Reg, Grapsody, Phil Lindsey. How you doing today, my brother?
Has it been a lot going on?
Considering what you call a lot.
It's been a lot. There's been some stuff happening, you know. It's been a little bit of drama in the LBC over there at AEW headquarters.
Yeah, a little bit. Seems like every day some news is coming out.
Yeah, it was some stuff, some wrestling news. A big headline this week, which we'll get into. Some Olympics news. Shout out to the GOAT, Simone Biles. Getting more gold around her neck.
Bro, watching Simone Biles flip. You know me, Phil. You know your boy. Flipping and spinning, spot foo. That's my stuff. And Simone Biles is the queen of flipping and spinning. I watched multiple of her performances this week. And the way that she locks in is crazy. The poise that she has when she's down and she's like, I have to do the performance of a lifetime. And she's like, I got it. And she does it. It's like, wow. Wow.
Yeah. Crazy. The GOAT for sure. Current Chicago Bulls fan, because, you know, her guy's over there. I seen him getting a little bit of flack because he was walking around wearing her gold medal. Listen, man, if my girl won a gold medal, bro, best believe I'm about to try that joint on, bro.
You know the famous Shawn Michaels pick with the world title and over his junk? That's me with the gold medal. Like, you think if my woman won the gold medal, I'm not about to put that on? Like, what do you mean? Come on, bro. What do you mean? My woman just won the gold medal. She's worked her whole life for this. I've watched her grind, cry, blood, sweat, and tears. You think that I'm not about to put this on? All right.
Definitely about to have that medal on, man.
Come on. All of them. Everyone that she got. What you mean?
About to do the Kurt Angle on your knees on the ground with all the medals on your neck.
Come on, bro. What you mean? I'm about to be getting all this off. Maybe I wouldn't broadcast it on the internet like that, but like, you know, come on. My wife just won, bro. It's crazy. It's funny that now he just has that on him because of whatever interview he did. And now people are just like, this guy's the worst of all time. She should get a divorce from him, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm like, I don't think you guys know what goes on in their house, but, you know, teach their own.
Yeah.
To each their own. Men's basketball is playing right now, I'm hearing.
Oh, didn't even know that. Some of this stuff is on so early that I'm like, I'm not getting up to watch it. I'm already up watching wrestling or something else, so I'm not getting up to watch that. We had the craziness with the boxing stuff this week, which I thought was like,
God,
bro, what is wrong with people? Like, you can't just do the research. Like, what's
doing the research is the thing that you're yelling on, you could be doing the research on is what drives me crazy about it. It's like you're on your phone going off about how this is the worst thing
Google
you
search.
I'm saying this is the worst thing you've ever seen in your entire life. But if you would have just Google searched, then you wouldn't be.
Yeah, that was some real loser mentality as well. Homegirl
And
was like, homegirl was like, I've never been punched that hard. I'm like, yeah, you're at the Olympics for boxing.
that was my favorite part of it this week,
What?
Phil, because everybody for that woman was like, she worked her entire life to get here. And blah, blah. I'm like, yo, the other woman worked her entire life to get here too. What y'all mean? Like this, y'all think this is a one-sided street? Y'all think that she was just like, oh, go ahead, you can have on to this Olympics without doing anything to earn it? It's crazy. And shout out to the homegirl. I wish I had her name because this is crazy. But yeah, one punch to get to the next round. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah, Eman, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Eman. Okay. Yeah, shout out to Eman getting to the next round with one punch. Shout out to that. Yesterday there was a lot of controversy with somebody we're going to be talking about today, and so I was like, why every time that Phil and I are going to cover WWE post show, some WWE superstar does something awful that I'm like, I don't want to be associated with this. And so your boy, Logan Paul, got on and expressed his interest in this boxing fiasco, being completely wrong. Everybody told him he's completely wrong. And then what did he say? Whoopsie or oopsie? Yeah.
After he made the biggest deal out of this and said it was the purest form of evil we've seen unfold, I was like, what? What are we doing, bro?
And then no, you're wrong. You're wrong. Oopsie. Guess I am wrong, but both tweets are still.
Well, he deleted the one.
Okay.
But he continued to lean into it afterwards. That was a very odd choice with your millions of followers, big influencer guy, to then spread some misinformation. But there was a lot of that this week. People just spreading misinformation or just outright lying.
Yeah.
I don't know why people feel the need to do that, but
What is that?
hey, it is what it is. Yeah, I thought that was irresponsible on Logan's part. I'm sure someone called him and was like, hey, can you take that down?
Mm-hmm. Just because like he has so many followers. He's a WWE champion because of his following. And using it to do that, terrible. And hopefully some repercussions and not just losing your stupid little title will happen. So
yeah. We gonna hit this elephant in the room, or are we gonna move right past this?
What elephant in the room?
Somebody, former person on this podcast was amongst some nonsense this week that then people kept asking us what we thought, and I was just like, I know what I think, but I don't know if people will like what I think.
I was trying to get to cuss word time.
Oh, yeah.
How many? We got to get to 11 minutes. Yeah, I'll let you talk for 3 more minutes.
For context here, certain South Park paint Avi guy in his podcast had Devon on, and Devon, I guess he has like a series of things with Devon now, and I don't know because I don't pay attention to the guy or his account.
I wouldn't know. I thought this is the first time they ever got together because I wouldn't know.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to this guy. But yeah, big block energy over here, buddy. Yeah, Duke LR, Dookie, not the Wire character. Duke loves wrestling, almost like Duke loves attention. One of the two. He had Devon on, and somehow this got into the usual anti-AEW talk, which is a pretty common grift.
I knew it would go there.
But for some reason, this got into that quote where Tony was saying that somebody in the media told him that WWE was asking around about their TV rights deal. And for some reason, that then turned into Devon saying, oh, I know who it was. It was that dirt sheet guy that he's got over there in his ear. And this was very interesting to me because Will is not a media guy. The quote very specifically said a media guy told him that, meaning somebody that's currently working in media. Yeah. Will don't work in media. Will works over there at AEW. He hasn't podcasted or worked in media in over a year. So it wasn't him. This then turned into what I felt was a bit uncalled for.
Yeah, it went somewhere that I was like, how did it move to that?
To say the least. And of course, the clip happened, and then people, when these things happen, we see it, because all the time when things happen like this, somebody sends it to me, and I'm just like, yeah, this is a thing that happened, whatever. I'm not gonna get into the pissing contest with Devon, or get into whether or not anything this guy said is true, because that doesn't really matter here. People are going to make up their minds regardless.
People's minds are made up.
But the initial premise to it was inaccurate.
Yeah.
The very initial premise to bring him up was inaccurate.
Yeah, why is he in this?
So just to start that with, it's just like, okay, well, you're starting off wrong. And then, like I said, it then got into some craziness. Now, I should preface this by saying, gossip is one thing, man. Gossip is... Because I don't know about you, but way before we had this podcast, when we used to just watch wrestling YouTube content, and there was the Sean Olivers of the world, and we get all of those shoot interviews, and we get Cornette like yelling at people, and I used to watch those things because I used to think it was funny, and I used to watch a load of that stuff. Mm-hmm. But in 2024, I'm not as interested in people doing the shoot interviews, or dragging somebody, or bringing up gossip, and using that for clicks.
I got into the game. I am like you, Phil. I like that. I was a big time fan. I watched shoot interviews coming up, but I got into the game to stop doing that. So there was
I have no interest in doing that kind of content. And hey, far be it from me, but I ain't ever had to use a better podcaster than me's name to get clicks. But if you got to do that, hey, go for it. But what are we doing?
Bro's lucky we even said his name. I wanted to come on here and be like, you know what I mean? Because I don't even want you to be like, oh, you. No, we're not, bro. We're not.
Just for the sake of saying this, and
you're trying to use us.
Listen, and again,
Dookie.
Listen, I know that the Grapsody stimulus package has done things for other people.
They like it.
Part of the reason that our guy has a job is because of what he was doing here. So I get it. Listen, it's hard out here, man.
It is.
It's a lot of people podcasting. It's a lot of content vying for people's attention. And
look, I know the game. I know the numbers.
Listen, I know the game. Your boy Shepard has had to rebrand like 4 or 5 times, man. He came out and he was doing the fake scooter bit. Then he was doing the bodacious booties of wrestling, or whatever the fuck else he was doing. Then he converted to a conservative MAGA guy. Then he did a retirement bit and that angle. Now he's back, man.
He's back.
Hey, I know it's hard out here to get them numbers up, man. But listen, throwing smut on somebody else's name to get numbers ain't the move. It ain't gonna get you consistent viewers. Now, if you
it didn't work before, why is it gonna work now? You fucking grifter.
Listen, man. Hey, man. When you win, you got chasing rants on your podcast and platform the pedophile to get your numbers up. Hey, that didn't work. So hey, let's do another grift. And I knew the play as soon as you did it. Hey, man, let's tag him on here. Let's throw this out here and clip this specific part to get engagements. And then when it starts doing numbers, hey man, you can always come on here and defend yourself. Hey man, you could have just asked him to come on the podcast to begin with, bro. You didn't have to try and throw smut on his name.
You can come and respond on my fucking podcast. Are you out of your mind, dude? Like, what are you thinking?
After you and your guy called him names, like
you thought that's what this was gonna lead to, him coming on your podcast and rebut so he can have his name in the lights with chasing rants?
No, buddy. No. We're not doing that. Listen, man, and this is the other funny thing about it, because again, I'm not getting into a pissing contest with anybody. I don't want to, because I don't have no ill will towards Devon. Hall of Fame wrestler.
I love Devon. This guy's tag team's in my top 5 of all time.
Yeah, one half about that. Yeah, one half of one of the greatest tag teams of all time. But when you then use gossip to try and get clicks, we know what that is. And I personally wouldn't have done that. That's your choice. You wanted to use that. But I thought the very ironic thing about it is that Devon called him a dirt sheet guy, and I'm just like, hey, well, what do you guys think you're doing here? Because isn't the whole bit of dirt sheets being that we're using tabloid stuff and we're using rumors and gossip to get
Well, I
clicks and
heard.
engagement. So
I heard
isn't
this.
that exactly what you're doing here? Or do you guys think by doing this that you're somehow above the sheets? Or nah, buddy, you right in the middle, man. You in between the sheets, man. Maybe y'all should change the name of y'all podcast to Between the Sheets, man. You know, listen, you know how Zach Galifianakis had Between the Ferns, man. Yeah, Between the Sheets, man. Why
Between
don't
the sheets, brother.
y'all go and get some ring lights, get your production value up, get a couple of ficuses, man. Get you some swivel
out.
chairs.
Yeah,
Between the Sheets with Duke. That's the move, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's what you're trying to do, anyways. That's what you're doing.
I just I listen, man, and I initially started not to come on here to say this because as I said on Twitter when I saw it, I was like, bro, we don't do that. We don't get on our podcast and devote time to trashing anybody. And this isn't really me trashing Duke. It's just me going, hey, man, if that's what you want to do for content, if that's the lane you want to be in, cool. Keep that shit the fuck over there, though.
Yeah.
Like, I just
that.
keep that over there. Like, and it might be just like, hey, man, you know, I may not have even said it if I have not also witnessed my friend have to endure a lot of things from that side of Twitter, being very weird towards him, bringing up his family and doing other garbage things. And, you know, for a guy to start his show with an ad read from Strictly for the Culture and then to spend time on your podcast trying to tear another black dude down, I thought that was very strange. But listen, do what you got to do.
Men on a podcast tearing another black man down, and for what? What do either of these guys gain by this? What happens here? Because you don't like this company, that's what you want to do. You want to come on, and tear a black man down, try to throw dirt on his name, try to get him fired or whatever you're doing here. What does that do?
Nothing. And that's it. And listen, if this is just, hey, I'm not enjoying AEW's content, this guy's in creative, I'm questioning what he's doing over there in creative, I want to criticize that, that's purely fair. But then when you make it personal, when you start trying to throw smut on his character, I don't really understand that. And especially when you're basing it off of rumors. And hey, listen, for all I know, somebody could have said that to Devon, but did you really need to throw that in there and to try and dig at this guy like that? I don't think you needed to. But hey, man, I hope it worked. I hope you got the clicks you wanted.
It worked. We're talking about it. They did it.
Hey, man, I hope that you thinking that us mentioning this will lead to us mentioning you again. This is a one-time and one-time only thing. Hey, I really mean that. Get your production value up. Hey, maybe change that Avi you got. Change the logo. Go in between the sheets. Like I said, get you a few ficuses, man. It'll work, man. But
there is no my setup all the time, my brother.
There is no substitute to just making the podcast better and making the product better. Just continuing to try and get controversy and get controversial guests is not going to get people to continue to watch your podcast, sir.
Nah.
And
that grifting stuff is not going to work forever.
It's not going to work, buddy. But hey, people can think what they want about what we said here. Again, I have no personal ill will to Devon. Other guy knows how I feel about him. And the funny thing about this, before we close on this and move on, is that when we started this thing and your boys got hot, he was in Will's mentions, in his messages, trying to broker a truce. And that's why I'm like, yo, if you just wanted my guy to be on your podcast, you could have just said that.
Way easier. I could have told you no. Like he's going to tell you. It's easy.
But I don't think you're going to get the answer you think you're going to get after that now, after you had somebody.
Hey, we slandered you. Do you want to come and respond? No.
No, man. That ain't the way you get Beige Mamba on your podcast, buddy.
No. That is not how it
It's not the way you get the Mamba on your podcast, buddy.
Hey, did you see that episode of Power Rangers? It might, that might be a little bit of bait to get him in. But
no, man, you could have said something else. Hey, man, you interested in coming and talking about Mariah Carey or something? I don't know.
There's things.
I don't know.
There's ways to get it.
You could have.
But you're still not gonna get it.
No.
Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Invoke told you. Invoke told your ass.
But yeah, this again, first and last time. this will be mentioned on this podcast. We'll not be talking about this again. I have no interest in, again, getting into what was said about the guy or some of these other rumors that are floating around. No. And hey, I'm sure some people will look at this like, hey, you guys are not an unbiased party because that's your friend. You're right, it is my friend. So seeing this from afar and watching people be very mean-spirited about him, it bothered me. And like I said, if it's just a criticism of his work and you just thinking, talking about the product, cool. But when you start just trying to talk about him as a person, you didn't need to do that.
My brother's name has been in the news this week, and ain't none of it have been attached to his work. So that's why we're on here talking about it. Like, if you guys are like, oh, this and this and this, no. Or when they do talk about his work, they talk about how he made his cousin the world champion. Huh.
That was also weird when Devon said that people were acting like it was some kind of secret. And I was like, but he said for years that was his cousin. He said that on this podcast.
And like Devon goes, oh yes, me and Swerve are cool, but let me slander his cousin for the next 5 minutes. How cool are you? And you're mad at a black man being world champion is what I came out of it with. Also 2 black men. What do you guys, let's move on.
Yeah. I just wanted to get that out of the way, just in case anybody wondered what I thought. In summary, my thought is that clout chasing is nasty, and you didn't need to do that, especially when you had a line to people and you could have not done that. Easy. Because if it was me and I heard certain gossip about you, I wouldn't have jumped on this podcast and did that.
I don't know,
and believe you me, we hear things all the time,
every day.
But I'm not gonna get on here and spread gossip because that's not what we do here.
For why? This is a fun time. It's Grapsody.
No, it's all fun. But yeah,
it's not fun being on the internet. I'm about to be off the internet, I think.
Yeah, man. But just listen. Just continue to do your little cosplay journalist thing over there. I get it, man. It's cool. Do your thing. I just can't let you continue to lie like we're in the same conversation, buddy. We're not. Cut it out. They don't sell chicken nuggets over here, bro. Go in that Wendy's over there. Like, leave me alone.
Dookie. I'm talking about like the shit. Yeah, let's move forward. We got super chats, we got humper chats, we got people in here. Thank you for your support as always. It's Grapsody. It's your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. I wanted to get that off because I was already angry about the thing, but we've gotten to the thing. So now we're here. I'm happy. I'm excited. It's Saturday morning. Oakland, California is beautiful. Sure, Chicago is beautiful too. I'm thinking, man, I want to go to All Out.
Yeah,
last year was so much fun, man. The Chicago one, not the England one would be amazing, but not going back to Chicago again in a month and thinking back to what we did last year too. Man, live Grapsody show. What a time that was.
Yeah, what a time. That is also funny about this. I don't want to get back into that kind of talk, but we've been at this for almost 3 years, and you know, like I said, I know my friend based off of the last 3 years. I know how my friend is, and we've had a lot of successes together. He's had his own personal success, and man, every time we make a step forward and we do something, it seems like this energy come out, man. And it comes from very specific people. And every time I ignore it, I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Well, y'all do your thing. It just, I don't know, man. I don't get it. If you're jealous, just say you're jealous, man.
It's pretty easy.
Just say you're jealous, bro.
I want your spot real bad. I want your spot so bad. I wish I was you. Just say that.
Hey, man, it's cool, but I hope mentioning my guy's name got you more than 50 views, man. Can always, like I said, feel free to take any of those ideas I shot at you, man.
Ficuses.
Just
pretty good.
Just let people know where you got it from.
The Ficuses. I'm telling you, that's the one. That's what's gonna do it for him. Go outside, touch grass, eat some lasagna, talk to a partner,
do something, man.
Enjoy yourself. Go to a water park.
Enjoy yourself, man. You listen. You seem to like WWE. Why you didn't go to Cleveland, man? Go get you a press pass. Go get your credentials up, man. I don't know.
Why ain't none of these boys ever in Cleveland though?
Why
ain't they never in the?
Why don't ever see you in the rooms I'm in? Let me chill out. Let me
chill out.
I don't ever see you nowhere, bro.
A lot of the people that they grift on are in those rooms right now. Like, but why? You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Listen. Let me stop because. For the
you like living like this, bitch? You like living like this?
Oh God, listen, man. I guess he do, man.
You guys are so lucky.
Sickening, man. Sickening business, buddy.
You guys
sickening business, man.
But why though? You Grapsody stimulus package, but like that's not what we're not about that though. I don't.
Hey,
listen. I'm about putting my people on. Who wants to get put on? You're a wrestler that wants to get put on. Let's talk about that.
I would have continued to support the guy, and I would have helped him out anywhere I can if he didn't do other things that I will not talk about here. But it's documented. It's documented, man. Like, listen, man. Hey, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry it didn't work out for you.
It's crazy outside.
Hey, man, super chats, man. If you got your super chats and you wanna send us super chats to talk about anything or ask us your questions, make sure to shoot those over. But if you want to send us a Humper chat where we get a bigger cut of it, make sure to send that to humperchat.com/fightful.
Yeah, we're gonna get into some of these super chats. We always appreciate you guys submitting. Grapple Geekery says, back for Hobby and Grapsody this Saturday. I do have a question. If Denise has leather parties and Reg has BJ parties, what's Phil's kind of party?
Denise out here having S&M parties?
Leathers.
That's why I saw leather. I was like, what kind of leather party is she into? What is this, bro?
Listen, I ask questions, but not all the questions.
I immediately have questions after this, man. What's going on?
There's a line. I'm like, I don't know
what's happening here.
Phil, yeah, we're gonna have to sit on that one. Appreciate you, Grapple Geekery. Van Twinblade says, F the Signifier did a 203-minute video on Kendrick Drake beef. Highly recommend. I sent it to Mike and Reg. I'll check that out, Van Twinblade. Leonard Aarons. I don't know
what that is.
Yeah, I'll let you know later. Leonard Aarons III says WWE has Logan as its U.S. champ. A lawsuit that the feds have picked up, and y'all shocked. Feinstein is front row at SmackDown. They are who they are, folks. I thought the homie, when I saw all these pictures, I was like, oh, the homie was just like waiting for them in the hotel like a freak, but he was front row too.
He's a fan.
Leonard Aarons III also says, someone tell Devon taking shots at AEW isn't getting his kids into Orlando any quicker. Just saying, find another angle.
I don't know what his angle was. I just his premise was incorrect, and I didn't really understand why he then took that as a need to throw some shots at a good dude.
I like Devon a lot.
Like I said, and that's why I've been I'm chilling. The other guy, yeah, it's different. I don't like dude. He knows I don't like him.
Devon and Bubba, they as wrestlers, they're on my top 5. That's it.
Shout out to Dudley Boys. Great tag team.
Aaron Busby, shout out to our homie, says, man, tell Devon to if you know, you know. Also, the SummerSlam card is looking very Cleveland, meaning it looks very mid.
There's some good matches on there. We'll get into that in a minute.
You saw your boy Gunther get into his Noah bag, talking about Cleveland.
I didn't.
Sure, was hilarious. They at the little press conference, he got into why Cleveland's the worst, and he ended it with, "I'd rather be homeless than live in Cleveland." My guy Gunther was getting in his bag.
Cook them on up, man. That's cool.
Sorry.
I did see his promo the other night at Damian Priest where he called him a street thug, and I thought Damian Priest was gonna bust into the Latin street rat. I don't buy that.
Oh my God, that's insane. Crazy. Appreciate you, Busby. Church pastor says, can we talk about the lack of black champions on the main roster of WWE?
It's looking a little funny. Looking funny in the light over there, man.
We were just talking about this, right? Like, who is the main? The males is really lacking over there, and who's coming up or who's next in line, and it's looking pretty bare.
Yeah, and I don't know what they're doing with Melo, man. I don't know.
He had a banger last night, but is that what it's going to be?
2 good matches with Andrade, but he's lost a lot. Number 1 overall pick over there. Sorry, not number 1 overall pick, but right, because he was number 1 on SmackDown.
Yeah, number 1 on SmackDown.
But yeah, I don't know what they're doing with him.
Is it going to be like a Shelton Benjamin type of, like, he's great, he's always going to put on great performances, but never be the guy?
I don't know what they're waiting on with him. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. That's all of our super chats for now.
Appreciate you guys. Let's get into some of these humper chats.
Humpies. It's crazy. But yeah, the SummerSlam card is not the worst.
It's a lack of melanin on there. Some matches that I thought should have made that card. Like, I would have liked to see Gargano get to wrestle in his hometown, and it seemed like it would have made sense to get Bianca and Jade on there, but they're trying to stick to this 7-match card thing. So,
like, yeah, they could have did both of them SmackDown matches last night on the show. I don't really
understand that either, but you know, they seem to be very stuck on this 7-match card thing.
Especially with how hot those tag title matches are. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? This could be on the next show. Okay, all right.
Yeah, Humper Chats. See, we got Humper Chats regular Tony P. He says, so fuck Paul, fuck DJT, fuck McAfee, fuck the NABJ, leadership, and fuck Sean Morley. Coming out the gate shooting, man. It's been that kind of energy this Saturday, I guess. Then he says, now, Ash by Elegance could have won Petty of the Week with her shade at Triple H on that post. I did not see this, so I have no idea what you're talking about. But he says, but my boy, hang 'em high, did the Lord's work, and that good Lord has told me to give him Petty of the Week. Nah, man, that him buying the Val Venus trademark was pretty funny, man. I died laughing at that.
That's been a crazy adventure this week. Val Venus finally got his comeuppance for being a terrible human, and now is trying to cry and beg on his knees for forgiveness. And no,
it usually goes that way.
Yeah,
you know. But
I don't know it was going to be all that. I bet you didn't.
Yeah, you know, consequences are swift sometimes, man. See, he says more from Tony P. Raw and SmackDown this week didn't feel like go-home shows. They felt kind of weak. I can't remember much from Monday, and Friday was uneventful other than a Mello Andrade getting time and in sad DIY run. It feels Vince-ish in a way. As for SummerSlam, specifically Liv and Rhea, we know Dom is helping Liv win by accident, but do you do the main coup of jumping Priest out of Judgment Day as Rhea watches helplessly same night, or hold off on the full split? It would be fitting that they would screw the Terror Twins the same night. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like we're gonna get something with that. I don't know if I believe that Dom is gonna do it accidentally. By the way, I believe he's gonna full on turn on Rhea.
I think that's happening tonight.
Yeah. But I'm not sure what this means for Judgment Day. We'll get into that some more with the SummerSlam card, but I don't know, man. I'm of two minds up about it, so we'll see.
Yeah.
See, more from Tony P. He says, Priest/Rhea butted heads, but they are alike somewhat and kind of ran the group together if you think about it. Priest been getting on their nerves for a while. Now that his twin is back, she's doing the same thing, and others are over it, and Liv knows it. Yeah, I do think we've seen the cracks starting to show in Judgment Day for a while, so I think that the implosion's got to be happening soonish. I hope they're not trying to drag this and keep kicking it down the road. Just get to it at this point.
Yeah.
See, he's got some more here. Before we get into some into the Hubber chats, it was kind of uneventful go home show. I mean, the Drew and Punk segment was very meh. I feel like it's gotten
It's
very
long.
It's gotten very convoluted at this point. Like the meat of the story is fine. I think they've built a good story here.
They told the story.
Which, I mean, you've had 6 months to build it, so you should have a story here. But I just don't think that you needed to include Seth into this. Seth kind of doesn't need to be there. And I thought it was weird. The Meltzer quote this week of him saying, "Why is he out there dressed like this? That doesn't fit this feud." And people got so mad at him. I was like, he had a point.
I'm not saying, yeah, it's like my friend said, as a Seth guy is like, he has a point. So I think he has a point.
He has a point. It's not for me so much the way that Seth is dressed, because that's the character, that's the bit. Right. I just don't think tonally he fits in this feud.
Just in general, not even like because he had the wacky ref suit. Just like not before Monday, it's felt like that. Like he's just out of place in this.
I just don't think he needs to be here. I would have rather see him wrestle than see him as a special guest referee.
Most importantly, yeah, it's like, well, why isn't Rollins on this card? What do you mean?
He's kind of Mr. SummerSlam as well. He's had a bunch of great matches at this event, so it kind of sucks that he doesn't have a match and you're just putting him in there as a special guest referee. And then when he was going over the rules, it was like, okay, so there basically are no rules. Is it a no DQ match? What's going on here?
SummerSlam 97. That's what they're doing here. I just thought that just clicked in my brain because I'm like, Shawn Michaels wasn't like Shawn Michaels should have been on the 1997 card, but instead he was, you know what I mean? Instead he is the referee and Bret Hart and Undertaker. But it's like still though, it doesn't really there. And then like, what's the finish going to be? Just building towards Rollins and Punk, or like, there's a lot of it that I'm kind of confused on. And so, yeah, this story has gotten the unfortunate thing of like Punk has been out, so they haven't gotten any physicality, and they just like kind of keep doing the same promo. They've been doing the same promo for like 3 months at this point, and that's what the Monday one felt like. It's like, all right, we get it. We know you guys are gonna fight on Monday. We know why. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I thought some of the stuff, as there's like a spider dropping in front of my face.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, some of the stuff I was fine with. I thought Drew's promo was good. I thought, like I said, the meat of the actual storyline is good. But even Punk coming on and trying to start the chant and just standing there and waiting for a reaction, that was kind of weird. And I mean, him mentioning Punk derangement syndrome on TV, that's a big internet wrestling thing. So to see him mention that on TV was kind of strange. And I didn't even get the feeling that crowd even knew what he was talking about. That felt like something that Punk fans on the internet know what it is, but that crowd did not care.
He's done a bunch of those since coming back, of like the smart ones, they know what he's talking about, but the people in the crowds, the live crowds, they are always like, oh, I don't care about that. And it seems like he's super into being back in WWE mode. Like he's like, this is how WWE promos go, but like they don't want that. They want CM Punk to be CM Punk, and he's leaning into something else.
Yeah, which I think is part of the story, which is fine, but it's just not really what I would like to see from him. And I think he has had good promos since he's been back. I think he's done things that I really enjoyed, but I think a big part of the problem is that this build is just going on for too long.
That's it.
Yeah, it kind of
Which was gonna be the problem when Punk being out, you know.
Yeah, it kind of feels the same way with some of the stuff from SmackDown. Like, I agree with Tony that it just felt like a regular episode of SmackDown until it got to the end. Like the stuff with Cody and Solo, that felt like go home stuff. The stuff at the end of the show felt like go home show stuff, but a lot of the rest of the stuff from the show felt very inconsequential. So
I feel like that sometimes they have so many sold out crowds, like they waste some of the sold out crowds. It's like some of the crowds want bangers, craziness, and they're just like, here's a regular show. And it's like, oh, no, if it's time for a regular show, we're getting into SummerSlam. You got a hot weekend wrestling crowd that wants something, and I don't know if they really got it. Like they keep trying to, but then they're like, I'm like, they're savoring for SummerSlam, but then they're not even going to completely give it up because they're stuck on these 7 match cards. It's so confusing.
Yeah. I thought the women, they should have been on that card. I think giving the women the tag team match on the card was the way to go. I thought the tag match last night was good. As I assumed coming into this week, either Jade and Bianca were going to regain the titles or they were going to continue to push it down the road, and they're going to eventually win the belts back. I think what they did was smart, having Blair interfere, because I was wondering where they were going with the Blair Davenport stuff from last week. And so now bringing her in and giving a reason for the big three to come back together and have a trios match with those three, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you could even did the trios match at SummerSlam. I don't know. Maybe they're going to put it on this long pre-show that they've got going tonight.
Phil, why are they doing that?
I don't know.
As someone who's watched the WWE pre-show, a 2-hour one for some reason, and there was no wrestling on it, if you're about to do 3 hours of that, dog, why?
I don't know why they're doing that. I have no interest in watching that, but
oh yeah, Collision. That's why they're doing that. You guys are so funny. So funny. But yeah, hopefully they do add something to it because that's crazy. You think they would do like a rematch back to back? They wouldn't.
No, I think either their trios match is going to be on the pre-show tonight, or it's probably going to be a SmackDown. I'm guessing off the top of my head, it's probably going to be a SmackDown.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I thought that match was really good though. There's a lot of the crowd was hot. The women were all super into it. A lot of dope spots, a lot of energy in the match.
Yeah. But yeah, the main bit of news that came out of this is we've got new tag champions.
We do.
Which both of us sat here and assumed was happening last week. I tried to throw a bit of optimism in there and say, hey, well, maybe somebody's going to interfere. No. DIY lost the belts. The DIY has been champions for a little bit under a month. As soon as they won the belts, Jacob came out, jumped everybody involved in that match. So that immediately told me, all right, well, this win doesn't feel as important as it's supposed to be. And this reign is already getting off to a rocky start. And then you had Jacob and Tama Tonga just beat everybody in the gauntlet match. We'll beat Montez and Angelo in the gauntlet match. And as soon as they won the gauntlet match, which even at the start of the episode, I was like, okay, well, they're going to win the gauntlet match because they started the show with a segment about them. So I was like, okay, they're going to win the gauntlet match. As soon as they put Jacob in, Jacob's not getting pinned. So they're going to win this gauntlet match. And the second they won a gauntlet match, there's only one logical conclusion to this, that they're probably going to win the belts. And they did. And it was a solid match. I thought DIY at least got some good offense in, but you knew where this was going. Gargano hit Jacob with that poison rana, and he sat straight up and proceeded to cook that dude to a crisp. That super kick he hit him with, as soon as he turned around, I was like, oh my God. So as he got hit, I was like, okay, I think he's already dead. And then he proceeded to hit him with like 3 more moves. I was like, yeah, he's done. It's over. You have successfully put him in the pack. It's over.
There was a few moments in the match that got me. I was like, oh, DIY might do this. And I started thinking back to our conversation last week. I'm like, all right, somebody might come in for the interference. Yeah. And then Jake started turning it up, and I was like, oh, no, it's over. It's way over. Jake has this WWE 2K power up moment
Yes.
that he does in all of his matches. That he
His
that
Hulk
is
up
like,
moment?
yeah, his Hulk up moment that you can't stop that. And he turned into that. This is the somebody brought up a Vinceism earlier in a super chat or Humber chat, and this Johnny Gargano DIY thing last night felt like the most it's felt in a while. I was like, they're setting him up so bad. Like he comes out, they do the DIY promo they've been doing, walking through the back and all this and talking, doing their thing. And I'm just thinking this whole time, you guys are about to get throttled out here. They get the big entrance, like it's their hometown crowd for Johnny Gargano. People are hot. His mom's probably in the crowd, wife's there, kids and all this, and then dead.
Bro, he told that story coming in about how SummerSlam 96 was the last show he saw in that arena.
Yep.
It's in his hometown. He just told that heartbreaking story about his dad's restaurant, which, hey, man, hopefully.
Shout out to Johnny Gargano, yeah.
Well wishes to Gargano and his family. That was a really terrible news to wake up to see. But, yeah, his family was in that crowd, and he went straight out there and lost. And not only did they lose, he took the worst of this meeting at the end because, like I said, as soon as Jacob got up from that poison Rana, it was over because he turned around and super kicked him out of his shoes, then proceeded to pop up Samoa, drop him, hit that crazy moonsault on him, and then he hit another move on him after that, didn't he? It was like either a DDT or something.
Yeah, he finished him.
Yeah,
while this was going on, I was like, man, I haven't seen somebody get done like this in their hometown in a while. This feels nostalgic.
Wow. Yeah, but Bloodline are your new champions. Of course, the history of is there because, of course, Haku and the Tongan Kid were also tag team champions. Of course, their sons are Jacob and Tama Tonga.
Pretty
dope. This is a full circle moment for them.
Pretty
dope. That's cool. I do wish that they would just use Guerrillas of Destiny.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused because I wanted to. I was hoping that at SummerSlam we were going to get Jacob Fatu and Kevin Owens because I'd rather see Jacob as a singles. But and Guerrillas of Destiny, so I was kind of confused. But this is cool, you know, the attachment to their dads and everything is dope. Yeah. But you know, in the future, I think we should go a different direction.
Yeah, I wish they would have done more with DIY, but I doubt that they're done with DIY. This was not a good reign for them at all. It doesn't give you the best feeling about any focus on tag team wrestling or SmackDown either.
No. I mean, John Gargano got throttled, but that still is a cool moment, though. They went in as tag team champions. He did get to tell that story. Like, he got the moment. He just didn't win.
Yeah. SmackDown ended with the Bloodline in the ring, and of course Solo taking the credit.
Doesn't every SmackDown end with the Bloodline in the ring? Like, what do you mean? That's every SmackDown.
We've seen this pretty often. But yeah, SmackDown ended with the Bloodline in the ring. Solo, of course, took all the credit, took both of the tag titles and put them over his shoulders, the same way that Roman used to hold both of the world titles on his shoulders. Because he did prophesize coming into this, those two titles are coming back home, and by the end of the night, that title was also coming back home. I did think that was a nice touch for him to pose with both of the belts like Roman did and ham it up like this was his moment. I think that's a great way to continue to get heat on him.
Is Roman in Cleveland, you think?
If he's not, he probably will be soon, if I had to guess. The segment before that with Cody coming out, Cody, I thought, got the better of that segment. He needed to because he's come out and got beaten down on quite a bit. The interview segment last week reminded people just how good he is when you just let him talk. And this week he did the same thing. He cut a really good promo, and he kind of fired off on Solo a few times in that promo. The line where he's like, "Yeah, I just got beat the tribal chief. Lucky for me, he's not here. Just you. I just got to beat this fake tribal chief."
Listen, Solo.
He got some lines off. He got some lines off. But yeah, this also led to the change of the stipulation. This will now be a Bloodline rules match tonight, which definitely tells me that we're probably going to see Roman.
Roman's going to be in Cleveland.
And it also makes sense with the story they've been telling coming into the week that all these people that are Cody allies got taken out. That makes me believe that we're probably going to see Randy Orton and probably Kevin Owens as well. Because now that you've made it a no DQ match, you got to even the odds for Cody some way. Maybe this is leading to DIY coming out and helping him as well. Maybe it's the way to get DIY on the show.
That's the way to get Johnny Gargano a big moment, I guess, to make up for last night.
Maybe.
But I think we'll probably see Orton and Owens before we see DIY. Well, you might see all of them.
Maybe.
Yeah. Do you think on Bloodline side we see like Hikuleo maybe?
I don't know. Maybe. I have to assume if we're getting Roman tonight, you probably don't want to debut anybody else because they're going to get overshadowed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anybody that when Roman comes out, it's going to be crazy.
He's going to get the biggest pop of the night if he shows out.
Yeah, it's going to be when they added the stipulation. I'm like, that's about to be shenanigans.
I feel like that's probably for the best because if you're just trying to do a straightforward match with Solo, I can't see how.
Yeah, I forgot who was in the match. You're right.
I didn't see that living up to the expectations as a main event. I think it's going to work better if it's a shenanigans kind of no DQ match.
You're right. You're 100% right. Good for Solo getting a SummerSlam main event for the world title. That's like, I don't think he dreamed that up, 2 years ago. I mean, he might have.
I thought Cody was talking specifically to you at one point in that promo when he goes, yeah, man, when we get past all the cinema and stuff that bloodlines do, as they say in this business, then the bell rings. I was like, did my friend write this promo for him or not?
Hey, Cody, what's up with you? What's up with you, Cody? You gonna do me like that? But yeah, not for reals. Cody's tapped in. Cody, it's funny because like we talked about Punk and how he does his thing earlier. Cody kind of does the same thing, but like in a different way,
Yeah, he'll get his internet stuff in. He definitely is tapped in. He definitely pays attention to what people are saying.
Cody. There's no way he's losing that championship tonight.
No, I don't see him losing. Which, speaking of, let's
get into it.
Let's get into the SummerSlam card real quick. Let me pull up this card.
Or the Summerfest, as Jeremy Piven once hosted Raw as the guest host and called it. The Summerfest.
But yeah, SummerSlam will be coming to you live from the Cleveland Brown Stadium tonight. Of course, if you check that out, you can also find us again on Fightful's YouTube channel hosting SummerSlam's post-show. Come in and watch your boys for a second time if you want. Or maybe you're going to cut this off on us and just watch later. Please don't do that.
Don't do that.
But SummerSlam, 7-match card, as we talked about earlier, very concise. There are, I think, some solid matches here. I think there's some solid stories coming into the show. And I think if they play this card right, you can have some interesting stuff coming out of this heading into WrestleMania weekend.
Agreed. 7 matches. They've been sticking to a 5-match card the last couple of cards, so this will be interesting to see how they structure the matches and who gets the most amount of time around here. I'm interested to see how the main event plays out, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Straight away, got Logan Paul defending the United States Championship against LA Knight. I think it's time. Regardless of any of this controversy from this week, I thought this
or yesterday it was time.
I think it's time. I think it's time to strap up LA Knight. I've had enough of this LA Knight reign. When he said last night that he's been champion for over 200 days and he's only defended the belt twice, I said, yo, what are we doing? Get this belt off this guy.
Get it off of him. They gave it to him just to have on his podcast and pose with the ex-president. LA Knight, save us, brother. Please save us.
Yeah, I think it's LA Knight's time.
Yeah,
he's been needing this kind of big match and this big win on this stage for a while now. He's been super popular for a long time, and he stayed hot. I don't know if he's as hot as he was last year, but he's still very, very popular with that audience.
Mhm.
They still do all of his catchphrases. He comes out and he does the stuff like the going to Logan Paul's house and
Mhm.
sitting in his pool or taking his Jeep last night. And the crowd reacts to all of this stuff. So I just think it's time. Put the belt on him.
Yeah, LA Knight is still, he's not, like you said, not as over as he was, but still very over, one of the most over guys in the company. He did a lot to build this match, and hopefully he gets rewarded for it.
Right. On the other side, we got Sami Zayn in a rematch against Braun Breaker. It sure feels like Big Braun is going to win this match.
Yeah. I'm excited that Sam Zayn's got to this moment. He's had a great run since beating Gunther, and the matches have been hot. Everything is good, but the writing is definitely on the wall. Braun Breaker has been running through fools literally on every Raw, and it feels like it's his crowning moment tonight.
Yeah, I would think so. I think that that's why we're getting the rematch.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's why they didn't just give him the win last time, because they wanted to give it to him on a bigger stage.
Are they gonna loop Gable back around to this? Do you think?
I don't know, man.
It's
I'm
looking
not
like
sure.
Dragunov will be next, right?
I'm not sure what they're doing with Gable at the moment. They're keeping him linked to the spooky guys and Nikki.
They announced that they're gonna have a match next week, which is cool.
Yeah, they actually did some finishing moves. They didn't just come out there and scare somebody away. They actually did some wrestling moves. I liked it. I like the way that they executed all this stuff. By the way, having them come out and take the mask off,
Me too.
I thought all this stuff was good. But I am ready to get to the wrestling at this point.
Yeah, we'll see on Monday. But yeah, Sam Zayn, you did it. So Braun Breaker's your time.
Yeah, I agree. I think Sammy has had a great title run so far. Big win at WrestleMania, one of my favorite matches from that weekend.
Yeah,
but it definitely feels like Braun's going to win this match. On the women's side, we've got Bayley taking on this year's Queen of the Ring, Nia Jax, for the Women's World Championship. This could go either way for me, because I could see Nia winning and then continuing the story of will Tiffany turn on her? Will she try to cash in on her? Or I could see them doing more with Bayley. And if you have Bayley win, you have the threat of Tiffany with Nia Jax.
Yes.
But I don't think I see a cash in this soon, because they just gave her the new briefcase. I think they want to milk this. I think that they want to sell some briefcases. So I don't see her cashing in this soon. I think we're probably gonna get a definitive win here. My guess, gun to my head, is probably Bayley.
Yeah, them just giving her the new briefcase last night leads me to believe she's not going to give it away the next day. That wouldn't make a lot of sense. For what you're describing here and what continuing the story, I think Bayley, just because continuing the threat of Nia and Tiffany on her is a better story, I think. But then, the way that Nia has been since her return and how dominant she's been, I could see her also maybe going over tonight. But I'm going to go with Bayley.
A big part of the reason I think Bayley's going to win is because I think they're still doing some story stuff with Bayley and Bianca. And I think this is leading to Bianca eventually challenging Bayley for the title. And that's when I think Tiffany's going to cash in. I think they're going to they're going to dangle the idea of Bianca trying to beat Bayley for the belt. And that's when Tiffany's going to come in and take the win away from her.
Do you think Tiffany's going to continue to be attached to Bianca's?
Not so much that I think she's going to continue to be attached to Bianca, but I think that's the smartest way to have Tiffany come back in and take a win. Because I don't think that Bianca is going to beat Bayley. I don't think that Bianca is the next champion. If I had to guess, I think it's going to be Tiffany.
And it doesn't hit as hard for Tiffany to cash in on Bayley over Nia.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think it does. Do you think we see Charlotte Flair tonight?
The way Teflon Donna's been working, putting her videos up, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Is this where she comes back? Does she muddy up the story if she inserts herself tonight?
Well, she could technically show up wherever she wants, because she's a free agent, I believe. Yeah. I don't think she was drafted. But yeah, she had a pretty severe knee injury. She has been working very hard to get back. SummerSlam, like I was saying, for Seth is kind of her big show. She's had a big match at this show several times. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if we see Charlotte tonight.
We've had a lot of recently in the last couple of years at SummerSlam women's returns specifically on SummerSlam, so I wouldn't be that surprised. We have Becky return. Remember, Damage Control came back. Like, there's been a bunch of times where SummerSlam has been the vehicle for a return, so wouldn't be that surprising.
Yeah, I think it kind of makes sense with the story you're telling as well. I could very much see after the match, if Bayley wins, that Nia starts beating down on Bayley, and then Tiffany teases to cash in, and that's when we hear Charlotte's music.
To make the save. Yeah. That makes sense.
And you've got kind of the stare down between Nia and Charlotte as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nia is queen of the ring. Charlotte can come out and say, "There's only one queen."
Mm-hmm. And then her and Tiffany stare. There's a lot that tells like 4 different stories right there.
Yeah. So I think that'd be a good moment for Charlotte to come back. I don't know if she's cleared and she's ready though.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty bad injury, so hopefully she'll be back soon.
And then kind of like the thing you were mentioning earlier with Roman, like you maybe also don't want to bring nobody back because if he's coming back, he's gonna overshadow everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, I assume they're gonna save Roman for the end of the night.
Mm-hmm.
We've got another women's title match. Liv Morgan will be taking on Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. The storyline for this match has been peaks and valleys.
Controversial, to say the least, also.
I think they've built some good stuff here with them. They have a lot of history. They were initially a tag team. Then Rhea turned on Liv and during Judgment Day. Of course, Rhea put Liv on the shelf for a little while. Liv came back at Royal Rumble. That started the revenge tour that's led to all of this stuff with Dom, of her trying to steal Dom away and split up Judgment Day. I feel like they've lost the plot a little bit in here.
A little bit.
But I still think all of this stuff that she's doing currently, like saying this is all been about Dom now and how Dom's going to regret spurning my love or whatever. And she was like burning his merch and stuff and looking like the whole jilted lover thing. I think that is all a red herring because I do think that Dom is going to turn on Liv.
Yep.
If you're going to make Rhea a baby face, she don't need Dom no more.
No.
She's super over as is, and a big part of having Dom with her is to try and get heat on her. And it wasn't really working because people like Rhea. So it's just time. It's time to make her a baby face officially and split her up with Dom.
I feel like it's kind of the same thing as the SmackDown Women's Championship, as you can go both ways though. Like I feel like you could do the turn still and have Rhea go over and be champion, because like having her Liv chase her as the heel with Dom might make a lot more sense. But then I could see like him legit screwing her out of the match and having Liv become the champion and Rhea chasing them as babyface. So there's a couple ways that they could go, but I feel like that Dom's gonna screw Rhea out of the match and Liv's gonna win and continue as champion out of this.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think that Liv is going to win here. I believe that Dom is.
She kind of needs it too.
Yeah, I think Dom is going to turn on Rhea, and they're going to leave together.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to do a big
kiss,
gross kiss. As well.
Mm-hmm. Just like Jericho and Trish Stratus.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or Christian
had a few
Trish
of those.
Stratus. Yeah.
Okay, then we have the 2 world title matches left. Damian Priest will be defending his title against Gunther. I think this is Big Gunt's night.
I hope so.
I think Gunther is going to win here. I don't know if this is going to be where Finn appears and helps Gunther win. But one way or another, I think Gunther will be your next world heavyweight champion.
Yeah, it seems like this is where we've talked about this for like a year or even longer, maybe like, where's Gunther's crowning moment, blah, blah, blah. It feels like it's always led to this SummerSlam moment for some reason. And it feels like tonight's the execution. Damian Priest has been trying to tell a great story. I think he's had a couple of promos where I'm like, yeah, I believe you as world champion. I believe this, but I've never really been like full on like, let's continue this with Damian Priest. I think that the moment initially at WrestleMania was really good, and the story that they're telling with Judgment Day is going to be great, but I think it's Gunther's moment tonight. Gunther has also been cutting some really great promos coming out of this. The thing that he did at the Cleveland show last night, or the pre-show presser thing, was really great. I think it's his time.
Me too. That's been kind of the story you've been telling with Gunther all this time. He was the workhorse of the brand as Intercontinental Champion. And ever since Royal Rumble, it feels like he's been on the cusp of moving up and transitioning into the World Heavyweight Champion, and they've been putting it off. But this feels like it's finally just his time.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I hope.
I mean, the crazier things could happen. Like Priest could they could do some Judgment Day, some kind of shenanigans that Priest ends up the champion still.
Right.
But I hope not.
Got CM Punk taking on Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as a special guest referee. This match has to deliver. There's no getting around it. That you've been building this thing for 6 months. This match has to deliver. It has to justify all the time that you've put into this. And some of it isn't the company's fault. You had to work around Punk being injured, and then Drew got injured for a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
You had Drew's contract stuff at the beginning of this year as well. You've got to have a good match here. Punk has to have a good match here with all of the criticism of him. There's some allegations of him being washed. Of course, he continues to get injured as well. So I feel like he has something to prove in this match for sure. He's got to have a slam dunk.
What's the finish of this match, Phil?
That's the other part of it. The finish of this match and the outcome has to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just like some screwy finish where Punk wins and nothing is solved here and you're still feuding after this, I don't want it, man. And I don't see a world where we get a definitive win here.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you've got to kind of put a bow on this, man. It's been going on for way too long.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much Punk's whole feud that he's been here has been Drew. It's been a long time. They both need something moving out of this. I guess that's what Seth is going to be in there for, but I mean, I'm worried that they're going to muddy up the finish here. But yeah, most importantly, they got to have a great match. We've been building this for 6 months. This is supposed to be
match has to be good.
Punk's official
First
singles
match.
Debut back in all these years. At SummerSlam, a lot is on the line for this. It's a lot of pressure, man. But I mean, he's had moments like this. He knows what's up for grabs. He knows up for stakes. I'm interested to see because Punk has a couple of different work styles. Sometimes he'll get into his Southern old school. I'm going to do spots that you have to watch 10 times to really understand. And then he might get into the MMA guy, different bags. So it's going to be interesting to see how he works this match.
I mean, his last one-on-one match, I really enjoyed that match. That was the Samoa Joe match from All In.
Damn.
Seems like it was forever ago. So I think that he can have a good match here, but this match has to deliver. Personally, I think that Drew needs to win. Drew needs to win way more than Punk does.
Yes, sir.
And I think if Drew does win, I think we're probably going to get some shenanigans. I wouldn't be surprised if Seth Rollins screws Punk over. Which I think that's the right way to do this as well. If you're going to try and build to Seth versus Punk later on, you got to do something in this match to try to plant the seeds for that.
Mm-hmm. And it feels like that's the natural story, right? Seth is here because Punk screwed both of them and he wants to get revenge, extract revenge essentially. But then I'm thinking back to 1997 again, what they're trying to do, and it might end up with Seth screwing Drew in the end. So
it could. I did like during their segment on Monday where Drew was like, listen, nobody hates this guy as much as I do. And then Seth corrects him and goes, hey, nobody hates this guy more than you as much as I do. And it's like, yeah, we get it. Both of you guys hate him. And I was sitting there like, it might be another guy in the world that might hate him more than both of you guys. But he's got a lot of enemies.
There's a list. But yeah, this honestly match standpoint is the most important match on the card.
Yeah, definitely. This match has to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
The main event, I think the main event has high expectations on it as well. I think now that you've made the Bloodline rules match, I'm less worried about whether it'll be good or not. Because going into it, I was like, man, watching this guy Jacob wrestle every week, and then thinking about the prospect of Solo. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But I think that this match can be good now. I think you can do some interesting stuff with it, maybe. But they've put themselves in a very interesting situation with this because I think the people that wanted to hate this Cody reign, they've given them a lot of ammo.
Yep.
And keeping him linked to Bloodline doesn't really help because it kind of feels like everything he's been doing has been running in place just to get back to the same place. And all of this stuff in the booking to this, the build to this match has been really to build anticipation for Roman coming back.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's going to be the big moment tonight if Roman shows up. It's not going to be about whether Cody wins or not.
Mm-mm.
And so it kind of sucks that you've built up all this fanfare about Cody winning the title, and then you still get to the point where the biggest moment is around Roman.
And you've been like telling the same story for 2 years. Like Roman left and we thought we were going to be done with this, but then he just got into it with a different version of the Bloodline doing the same things that they did for 2 years. So it's like,
because honestly, as champion, it doesn't feel like Cody's show. It still feels like the Bloodline show.
It does. Yep. Every SmackDown is the Bloodline show.
Yes. So I feel like Cody has to win. He has to have a definitive win here.
Yep.
I don't want to see some.
He has to look like the world champion.
Yes, and it's going to be hard to strike that right balance and possibly bring Roman back. But I definitely feel like we're getting Paul on the microphone by the end of the night.
Damn, that feels so unfortunate for Cody that you saying that like every big moment he had, like Roman is somewhere there. You know what I mean? Like eventually you got to get away from this. Like what's next? Like what's going to happen? But this Roman comeback and gigantic pop is inevitable.
It's inevitable. And I mean, Cody has had good matches as champion.
Definitely. The AJ stuff was heat.
Yeah, both those AJ matches I enjoyed. I enjoyed the Logan Paul match as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's been a good champion besides the fact that he's still linked to these guys. I just think the build over the last few weeks of him getting beat down every week and essentially just rehashing a lot of the stuff we saw earlier in the year, it's kind of dragged this reign down. I
don't want to see Cody get beat down again. Now we've been seeing it.
I'm just kind of ready for him to move on to other things. I'm ready for him to get his own storylines. I'm ready for him to get some new challengers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just ready. And you just know all of the Roman stands and all of the detractors that didn't want Cody to win are going to be having their victory lap tonight if Roman comes out and gets this massive pop and he gets a bigger pop than anything else on the show.
See, we told you. Now the real star's back.
Yeah, you just know it's coming. But
Cody don't deserve that. Cody fought hard for this, man. And he's still Cody. Like he's still at all the house shows. He's still in all the main events. He's still on all the promotional stuff. He's still Cody. He has a new show now. Watch a little bit of him and R-Truth. Very funny stuff. Like good stuff.
Yeah, still very popular. Still one of the top baby faces in the entire industry.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to win this match. I don't see a world where Solo wins. He has to win.
Solo is holding up that championship, and that's when Roman returns. I'm gonna cry.
Listen, if we end this show with dun 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 dun,
that's
dun 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 dun, give me it all. I'm gonna be like, listen, man, where the remote at?
With that Kevin Gates, dun, dun, hey, listen,
Kevin Gates.
That Kevin Gates kind of be hitting though.
No, I like his theme song.
We kind of hitting though.
Nah,
I want it all. No. That's like Kevin Gates.
That is hilarious. I've never thought about calling Kevin Gates theme. But his theme song gets heat, man. I did think last night as well, bro. Give Andrade back his old theme song, bro.
Yeah, man. It don't even when he's walking out, I'm like, this don't seem right. I don't like this.
Give him his old theme back, man.
Yeah, why y'all doing Andrade like that? He has that was part of the charm, is that great theme that he had.
Yeah. But yeah, Cody Rhodes should win here. That's of course going to lead to some aftermath stuff, I'm assuming. But it should be a fun night of wrestling.
What's next for the WWE?
Bash at Berlin, I believe, is at the end of the month.
Are we okay? Because that's what I'm trying to think of out of the title matches. I'm like, if Drew has a definitive win, it could be him and Gunther at that, which will be dope. Mm-hmm. And then where does I guess that's where I'm leading with the rematch. Or with the main event, does Roman get a rematch against Cody sometime this year?
My guess for the world title matches for Bash in Berlin, if it were me, I would do Gunther versus Finn.
Okay.
Because they've been trying to get to that Gunther Finn match on an international pay-per-view for the longest. I feel like that's the show you can do that at. And then you could also do Cody versus Roman rematch.
At Bash in Berlin.
Yeah, because you haven't had a big Roman match at an international show in a while.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's if you're gonna bring Roman back tonight, you should be using that to build to the match in a few weeks.
Right. If he's coming back tonight. Yeah. Totally. Interesting stuff. Bash at the Berlin could be kind of heat if they do it. That's why Gunther got to go over too. Like there's some decisions tonight that kind of like, ooh, they could screw this up.
They could. Yeah, not beyond me. I wasn't the biggest fan of some stuff this week, but it is what it is.
Yeah, like the go home, they didn't feel like super go home shows, but I think they'll execute. They have been recently.
Yeah. SummerSlam will be coming to you live tonight. In a few hours, you can start this pre-show. That's for some reason.
Pre-show's coming up. It feels like pre-show starting in 30 minutes. It's 25 hours. No matches. Yeah. Should be a good show. Again, Phil Lindsey and Righteous Reg will be on the post show here on the main Fightful Network, talking all the comings of SummerSlam and what happened. And I'm sure your homeboy SRS Sean Ross Sapp will probably tap in with us if he has anything special to talk about.
SRS. He did say we might call in, so we might pop up.
He always has some little skits and tidbits to go.
Yeah, he's of course out in Cleveland. That picture he put up of him holding the big Cleveland jersey with Gargano behind him, super excited, and Ciampa was like, "What is this garbage?" Like,
shout out to all the homies out there in Cleveland. There's a bunch of friends out there having a good time.
Yeah, a lot of media friends are out there. Shout out to them. I saw a lot of people getting in their internet bag at the media day.
Yes, sir.
It's always kind of fun to see people working. Yeah.
It is fun. Shout out to the homie Denise. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to everybody out there doing their thing.
Yeah.
Making money. Malcolm's about to have a match.
Malcolm.
Malcolm's about to have a match with AJ Francis. You saw that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, they're going to wrestle this month.
Okay, cool.
For Malcolm's first match is against AJ Francis. Malcolm about to get his ass whooped.
Listen, man, that guy was out there throwing PCO around. Good luck, Malcolm.
My boy Malcolm's about to get dragged. You better use the muscles. Yes, let's get into some super chats and we'll move forward. Van Twinblade says, also Glory Pro is finally getting a women's belt. Oh, that's awesome. And they are doing attorney. Shazza, boo, beat Tootie in the first round. Look, Shazza might win this, Van Twinblade. You might be very upset because she has been dominating in Glory Pro for a really long time. And that championship is almost made just for her. That's awesome that they're getting a belt, though.
Yeah. Overdue. Long overdue.
Long overdue. Amir F says, any chance Triple H gets asked about MVP, Lashley, and Logan's comments during their scrum? I doubt it.
I don't see it. Maybe somebody will. I saw that there was another MVP IG comment that
there's another one?
Yeesh. You didn't see it?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was rough. Somebody asked him, why is he so jealous of a certain guy over there? And MVP responded to that. His response was swift. It was swift.
Wow. Your boy MVP showed up at Bloodsport. You saw?
I did. That's dope.
Mhm.
I think it's dope that he's doing more things. I think the prospect of him having some kind of indie run is cool.
Mm-hmm. Tonight, I feel like somebody will probably ask about the Logan Paul stuff.
Yeah, I feel like the chances of someone asking about Logan are higher than someone asking about MVP or Bobby.
Yep. Same here.
Because somebody already tried to ask about Bobby recently, and Triple H basically gave him the like, it's wrestling, and we get free agents all the time. People leave.
You know, contracts, money, things, blah blah blah. Yeah, the Logan Paul has more likely to be talked about tonight.
Yes, Boris. That is what he said, Boris. That's what he said.
Van Twinblade also says shows up at the pay-per-view in a crop top and booty shorts. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Everybody on their Shawn Michaels tribute thing. I wouldn't, iChurch Pastor says, when do we start talking dumbing of Montez? He's money.
Yeah, I don't like it, man. They teased us with the singles run that never happened, and right now I'm just wondering, what are you doing with these guys? They're a great tag team.
iChurch Pastor is bringing up a good point though. Like they have made him into like Junior from My Wife and Kids instead of like, you know what I mean? Like he's almost becoming like a bit.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's weird. Hey, what's over there says Dom is turning on Rhea similar, if not exactly the way they turned Eddie on China.
Yeah, I see the vibes.
Yeah, they're connecting a lot of pieces from back in the day.
He's got the big scumbag mustache now. Yeah, I see it.
It's gonna be good though. Dom's getting super over from all this, and that also the women. That's where I'm kind of conflicted on the whole angle because it's like I feel like Lee lives in the exact same spot that Rhea was of like the championship is not the main focus, but she's getting very over. So it's like,
It is what it is. I think the best way to continue to get heat on Liv is probably to continue with the Dom stuff, unfortunately.
I
don't see any way around it.
So unfortunate. And then hey, what's over there also says in a perfect world, Jack Perry runs in and costs Punk the match. That's not happening.
No.
No times a gazillion. I'll come on the show and eat a hat if that happens. A real hat.
Jack Perry.
Like
the way Mark says his name is just so funny. Jack Perry. Get out of here, Jack Perry.
Like if that happened, like something went down. You know what I mean? Like if Jack Perry showed up on SummerSlam, like something happened.
Yeah.
That's all of our super chats.
Insane. Current AEW champion.
I'd be like, something happened.
With a match already in the bag for the next pay-per-view. No way. We've got some more Humper chats, but before we do that, I'm going to hit you with a word from our sponsor.
Yes, sir.
BetOnline.ag is the official betting partner of Fightful. 100% of the time when you get the odds from Fightful, they are coming from BetOnline.ag. And it's not just wrestling, it's not just MMA and boxing. It's football, it's basketball, baseball, hockey. They have the earliest lines. You can bet big with the high limits and rebet functionality. They have the fastest payouts with winnings paid in minutes and the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit. They've been trusted for 25 plus years. It's not some fly-by-night company. BetOnline AG has been there. They've done that. In addition, they're trusted by millions. They've got VIP rewards programs and a ton of popular games. BetOnline.ag. That's where I go to make my bets. That's where I suggest you go to, my friends. Please just bet what you can and bet responsibly.
Please bet responsibly, of course, but if you're looking for the place for your betting needs, including pro wrestling, betonline.ag is the place to go. I got a little bit behind on the G1, but I was still keeping up with it for the most part. It's mostly because I just forgot one night that it was on, and I was like, oh, well, I missed that one, but I kept going. It's still been a pretty good tournament so far. Evil is leading all wrestlers with 10 points.
Sick. What a sick individual.
Don't know why. He's leading all wrestlers with 10 points. In A block, he is leading with 10 points. Right below him is Zack Sabre Jr., who started out hot, but he has lost his last 2 matches. Lost his big match last night, which, I mean, it was understandable. They went back to the rivalry with Shingo Takagi. I thought it was a very strong match. Those two have great chemistry together. Excellent match if you have not seen it. Great main event. We also got Naito last night taking on Gabe Kidd. Naito is at his best in these kind of matches where somebody else is more mad at him. He's just kind of like, well, what did I do? And so I'm just going to troll you the rest of the time. And so Naito pulls off this win where it looks like he's going to go up for a Destino, but he then rolls Gabe Kidd up for this pin and then escapes and rolls out the ring. And the whole time Gabe Kidd is in the ring all frustrated, and Naito is behind him laying on the commentary table doing the tranquilo pose. And the whole time he's trying to get Gabe's attention because he's looking the other way and he's like, hey, Gabe. It's so funny, man. If somebody has not clipped it at this point, it's so funny, man, because he just keeps doing the same pose over and over. It's like, hey, Gabe.
I gotta see that.
It's so funny.
Hey, Gabe.
But yeah, Gabe is in a 5-way tie with 6 points right below Zack Sabre for 6 points. Shota Umino also has 6 points. Shota had a pretty hot match as well. He lost at the very last minute. But I think he's shown a lot of grit, I think, in the matches that he has been in. He also has 6 points right along with Naito, Sonata, Gabe Kidd, and Shingo Takagi right below them. Caleb Newman has 4 points. Caleb has been very impressive so far in this tournament. I think he's been one of the biggest surprises of this tournament. Even the matches he loses in, he comes out looking really, really great. Jake Lee is all the way at the bottom as well with 4 points with Great O'Khan. David Finlay is leading B block with 6 points. And as I said before, he's been one of the highlights of this tournament. I'm sure some people were not happy that he pinned Konosuke Takeshita in his last match. But not surprised. This is a New Japan guy going against a DDT guy / AEW guy. He's been having strong matches in this tournament, but David Finlay is a mainstay there. So
somebody who's going to be there when this tournament is over.
Yeah, and he's gotten some great heat. I think he's worked his match as well. He's another one like we were talking about with Solo when he comes out of this theme. I was like, nah, this guy got a slapper, bro.
Where'd you get that at? Now I'm happy for David Finlay because coming into this tournament, we keep continuing to talk about them needing new stars and them needing new people to kind of lead this forward. And I like what David Finlay does in ring always. And I think he needed just a big moment to shine, and I think he's been doing it in the G1.
Yeah, nah, that theme song be slapping, man.
He ain't got Kevin Gates on it, but it's hard.
Nah, man. It took me. I felt slow as well when I actually was sitting there listening to the lyrics. I was like, oh, because he's a 4th generation wrestler. That's the lyrics to it. I was like, okay, I feel you, bro.
4th gen.
But yeah, right below him, tied with 6 points, Konosuke Takeshita, Hanare, Ren Narita, Jeff Cobb, and Yuya Uemura. Yuya Uemura has become one of my favorite wrestlers in the entire company. He's been tremendous in this tournament. He's been a lot of fun to watch. I think this tournament has helped him out a lot. He was one of those guys, I think, coming into Wrestle Kingdom where people weren't that impressed with the match, but you could see the potential there.
Yeah.
And this tournament has, I think, turned things around for him a lot. I think this is doing for him what people wanted it to do for Shota.
That's super interesting. This tournament has been presented. It's funny because it's the main tournament of New Japan, and it makes a lot of sense. But the thing that it's done for a couple of these guys has been even greater. And the tournament ain't even over yet.
Yeah, we're effectively halfway through. Last night was night 9. Tonight will be night 10. I think Bolden Oleg is another guy that has benefited tremendously from this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
No longer a young lion. He's got his own entrance. He's got his own gear and everything now.
Amazing.
I think his style of wrestling is great. I think he could easily become heavyweight over there that's worth watching. He could easily be a guy that you can slot into the never open weight field, and he would fit perfectly.
Yeah, coming out of this, he's gonna have a really big showing, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy I think you should keep an eye on for. El Phantasmo is not doing well at all. He has the least amount of points of all competitors with 2 points. I really want El Phantasmo to do well, man. And I get the story they're telling with him in the tournament. I just want to see him win, man. I just root for him to win. He's got a match coming up, I believe, tonight. Here, let me double check that.
Yeah, maybe he'll turn it around in the second half.
It is tonight. He's taking on Yuya Uemura tonight. Very much looking forward to that, seeing how he would do. But yeah, he has not performed well.
Tough one.
Not that he's not wrestling well. It's just, of course, he's doing a lot of losing.
But that's always kind of the story they tell with the junior heavyweight to heavyweight transition, you know?
That's true. And he's kind of in a weird spot. He's no longer a part of a stable. He just got turned babyface, so he's in a real weird place right now. Hopefully they figure out something for him soon, though, because he's a great wrestler. He's very popular,
very charismatic.
Yeah, so hopefully they figure out something for him soon.
I'm really just a real good, humble dude. Shout out to LP.
Yeah, seems like a great guy. But tonight, we've got 5 matches in the B block. We've got Oleg taking on David Finlay. Then we've got El Phantasma taking on Yuya Uemura, as I said. Hinare versus Jeff Cobb. Very much looking forward to that. That's going to be heat.
Meat match.
Got Hiroki Goto taking on Konosuke Takeshita as well. That one should be hot.
That's going to be a heater.
And the main event will be Yota Tsuji taking on Ren Narita.
Now that Goto and Takeshita match, I feel like Takeshita and Goto, and the history of Goto and how Goto has been in this tournament, that might be one of them ones. It's exciting.
Yeah,
a lot of wrestling on tonight.
Yeah, a lot of wrestling. I don't know what time it's coming on tonight, but it'll be morning if you're in the U.S. with us. But yeah, fun tournament so far. It's been it's always hard sometimes to keep up with it because it's so much wrestling. It's so many nights. Sometimes it's back to back nights of wrestling, and it does have that point where sometimes it gets a lull period where the matches are good, but I don't know. Like that's why I could tell when Finlay won that match the other night against Takeshita. People are like, "What are they doing?" It's like it's the G1. You know you're gonna get those kind of matches. You know you're gonna get the upset matches. It's
marathon.
It's fine.
The G1.
Yeah, but strong tournament so far. Guess all we've got left is AEW talk. We've got
what happened in AEW?
Well, first of all, the biggest news of the week as far as AEW was Tony Khan had a meeting with former WWE on-screen personality Shane O'Mac. As soon as I got up and I saw that news and I saw the picture, for whatever reason, I kept thinking of saying Shane O'Mac in the Black Dynamite transition. Shane O'Mac.
Interesting week to say the least, Philip Lindsey. Tony Khan, that was the start of the week pretty much.
Yeah, that was the first thing of the week. Talking about like a lot of stuff that's happened this week. That coming out the gate, that was the first thing we got was that picture dropping of Tony Khan sitting across the table from Shane O'Mac.
What do you make of this, Philip Lindsey? Does this mean anything? They could just be like your homie Bully Ray said that he talked to Shane and they were just like, Yeah, we just had a meeting. We both like wrestling. We both it was just chill. It wasn't even anything. But they always got to say that. He's not going to be like, oh yeah, they offered me blah blah or blah blah blah. What is this?
Well, we knew ahead of time that Shane was interested. There was a
Yep.
report that came out not too long ago that Shane was interested in being a part of something with AEW. Then
We've heard this.
we got the Mercedes story as well. Mercedes was very funny in all of this.
She's so funny.
I believe that was on her magazine or blog site that she has. And she told the story about how she saw Shane at the airport and they kind of turned around and saw each other and was like, wait, is that? Yeah. And they were excited to see each other. And, maybe that turned into something. I don't know. But, the Bully Ray report that came after all of this, because Bully got on Busted Open and said that he got a direct quote from Shane that it was just them having a meeting about having a mutual respect for each other, having a mutual love for wrestling, and that turned into Tony saying that he's welcome here anytime. We would love to do something with him, but it doesn't seem like there's anything concrete nailed down.
Yeah, it's just like kind of fillers, maybe. Like it just felt like they were trying to see what if they maybe could do business, what it leads to. Just kind of like that initial thing. Nobody knows anything. It was just interesting, kind of the chain of events and how these things move. I'm just like, I was asking Denise on Wednesday, feel like if you search AEW, like Shane McMahon joins AEW, say this. Shane, if you search AEW and Shane McMahon, now McMahon is attached to your brand. Do you want that smoke? Even if it's Shane, do you want that name being attached to your brand?
I don't think you should, especially with the brand you've created and you've told us for the past 5 years that this is the antithesis to what they're doing over there. Why would you then want to bring Shane in? That doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense at all for what this brand represents for Revolution. We're opposite. And then McMahon's here. Wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that would be very weird. We're just sitting watching Dynamite and all you hear is, here comes the money. Here comes the money. No, I'm good.
Even you doing it in a joking scenario, it triggered me. I was like, wait, we can't, this can't happen.
Money. Coming out there doing a rope-a-dope and nah, I'm good.
Shane McMahon can't be piecing nobody up with them punches, dog. That's crazy.
Nah, the Shane work punches.
Come on, man. So yeah, I'm like, everybody likes bits. We all like things, but I mean, the bit might be a little too far, maybe. I think,
I'm good.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, as I tweeted when all of this was happening, I have no interest. I'm good.
I think
the last time we saw this guy, he tore his quad.
Last time we saw Shane McMahon, the bro was breakdancing. Yeah, we had to watch Snoop do the people's elbow because of what happened to Shane McMahon.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to see this guy wrestling. I don't need to see any of the bits. Now, do I think it would be a little bit funny if at All In, he comes out and does the Mercedes entrance with her? Maybe. But if it was just something small like that, I can't see them bringing him in just for that. This is Shane McMahon. This isn't just like some small brand.
And like, he learned a couple of things from his dad, and making a deal, I'm sure, is one of them.
Yeah. I don't see him coming in and making a deal where it's just like, I'm just going to come in and do some like one-off appearance.
He's like, if I'm making a deal, I'm making a deal. So like, I just think it's not worth it. You know what I mean? It's not worth it.
Please no. I just don't want it.
That's it. For what has been built over here, what this brand represents, the fans, everything, it's not really that good of a look.
Even if Mikey Ruckus is listening to this and he's cooking up the theme song, that's basically what I said, the Shane O'Mac Black Dynamite joint. Shane O'Mac.
Okay. If you let me be the dollar, check the sir. If I could be that guy,
game with the cheddar.
If I could be that guy, then I'm all in. Take everything back that I said.
Money.
Yeah, just funny. What about like the picture?
Yeah, that was
You know?
that whole idea of that being leaked. I was like, this doesn't look like a leak.
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
This
what do you
looks
mean?
this looks like it was very much planned.
Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean a leak? But look at the picture. When I'm looking at the picture, I'm like,
Yeah, no. I
the words aren't adding up to what this picture is showing me, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Maybe Shane O'Mac's gonna go over there and help the elite. Maybe he's gonna come out with Okada and stand out there with the money coming down.
Nah. Hold on. You might be cooking.
That would be pretty funny,
I was
man.
like Shane and Okada with the money falling down. Sounds hilarious.
Yo,
like,
hey,
hold on a minute.
shout out to whoever made that MV as well with Okada, and it had the Chief Keef laughing to the bank over it. Bro, I was in tears laughing, bro.
Man.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, the Chief Keef record, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, hilarious, bro. You gotta see it.
I gotta see it.
Hilarious, bro.
Yeah, nah, you might have been cooking with that Shane and Okada thing with the money falling down. But yeah, Philip Lindsey and Righteous Reg are saying, don't do this. These are all jokes. These are all bits.
Of course, these are all bits. These are all things that I think as a bit at the moment, as a one-off thing, would be very funny.
Totally.
But you're talking about having Shane on your television show regularly? No thanks.
When he was on WWE TV, we were like, get this guy off of WWE TV. So why would we want him on AEW TV?
I'm good. No, thank you.
We were almost, most of the time, I like Shane McMahon a lot. I think like some of his matches are spectacles, the Kurt Angle shit, the Big Shows, Steve Blackman, all that. But a lot of the times we were forced to watch them because he was the promoter's son.
Yeah, we were very much dragged kicking and screaming into some of those matches.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
I don't want
just think about Bryan's return to wrestling and how we had to watch him have that tag team match at WrestleMania that I did not want. I'm just like, why is Shane here? I don't want this.
You just triggered me. There's some things that are erased from my brain. Bryan Danielson came back. One of my happiest moments of all time. Like, oh, he's teaming with Shane McMahon. He's what?
I didn't want it. I didn't want it, bro. The whole Miz feud with him, awful. I want it. The Braun feud,
Braun Strowman report card.
Oh my god,
we cannot forget these things, you guys.
I don't want it, man.
Okay, now a lot of people.
He has had good moments.
I'm like, a lot of people are like, what about him and Darby in like a destruction match?
Stop this. Stop it. No,
you don't want this. That's it.
Not fit. Shane McMahon in his 50s doing this match with Darby. Stop
come
it.
on, we just saw him break dance. He broke his leg.
We
got Peacock. We're about to watch Peacock later today. Watching your SummerSlam.
Listen, he had a pretty
go to
good...
the search function. Shane McMahon. You got a lot of great stuff. You can watch it.
Yeah, he had a pretty good match with Undertaker a few years ago. Still one of AJ Styles, possibly not even one of, possibly his best WrestleMania match with Shane McMahon. But we don't need no more. It's enough.
That sounds crazy. Hey, what's your best match at WrestleMania? AJ Styles. Oh, it's good. Shane McMahon. That just sounds.
I mean, well, what is it if it's not the Shane match? It's not the Shinsuke match.
I'm like, it's messed up because you're right.
It's not the Edge match.
It's
not the Boneyard match.
The Boneyard.
Bro, it's probably the Shane match.
AJ got a wild ass WrestleMania resume, dog.
Bro, I'm just sitting here thinking, if it's not that match, what is it?
Yeah, it's not the. Yeah, you're right. It has to be the.
I don't think
match.
it's a Jericho match either. I think it's a Shane match.
Yeah. That's crazy. Why do they keep doing AJ like that at WrestleMania? Let my guy have one.
I mean, we were excited for the Edge match initially, but
I didn't like it.
Didn't quite hit the mark.
All of Edge's in WWE, his dream matches, none of them really executed, I think.
Not in that last year. I think he had some strong ones here and there, but most of them in that last few.
Like AJ, we've been wanting this match for 20 years. What the fuck happened here?
Yeah, probably the best one out of the bunch was probably the Roman match, but I mean that's a match with Roman and Bryan. Hard to have a bad match with those three guys in there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big WWE style match. Of course, Edge is gonna cook in that,
Yeah, but other than that, I'm still trying to think off the top of my head what is the big AJ WrestleMania match
think
that
that's it.
over deliver. I think it's Shane.
Big Shano. Which is like, again, just interesting. But again, we were forced into a lot of these moments, you guys. So don't forget.
Yeah.
Busy week at AEW, Phil. That wasn't it. I wish that was it. That'd be great if that was it.
Yeah, I would love to be able to just get into the stuff that I enjoy because Dynamite has been pretty good.
Yeah.
Of course, we got some more backstage drama that muddied the waters. This came out of nowhere. Now, the funny thing about all of this is that they just ran an angle on Wednesday with Mercedes, where Mercedes came out and cut that promo after Camille's in-ring debut. And she said, yeah, you're finally going to get your match, but my EVP suspended you. So, ha. Little did we know that she is suspended for realsies and not for play.
Yeah, that wasn't it was a wrestling promo, but it was a little bit deeper than a wrestling promo.
Yeah, so that was the news that came out this week that Britt Baker is suspended for 1 to 2 weeks, I believe. So she will be back in time for the match at All In with Mercedes. They still are building that up. I had assumed when we saw these things together, I was like, okay, that's why they did the Comic-Con thing. That's why they built the match there and they did the stare down there. And I think they made the best out of that situation. But yeah, all of this stuff to go along with the suspension sounds super duper unnecessary. I just don't really understand the point of it.
Get to the graps, y'all. What are y'all doing? What's going on here?
I don't get it, man. What are we doing? The story here, the alleged story here, based off of multiple reports, is that she was in a locker room and she said some things about Max. Max's girlfriend, Alicia Toot, was in the room. She heard said things said about Max. She went back and told Max. Max came back and confronted Britt on it. That turned into an argument. And that then led to the office getting involved. And that led to an investigation. Following the investigation, Britt Baker was suspended. Now, the internet did what the internet does with these things. I'm going to take a side based on who I like, regardless of what the facts are here.
Yep.
Or what's going on here. I'm going to pick a side and I'm going to editorialize this based on my feelings about either of these people. At the moment, there are a lot of people online that are not a big fan of Max. And so immediately people are like, well, why did Max even do that? Why is he getting involved? Now, there are a few ways to look at this. If this is just Alicia seeing what happened and going and talking to Max coming in there, and people framing this like Max barged into the room and started yelling at her in a room full of women and then got mad and punched the wall. I didn't read it that way at all. According to the report on Fightful Select, he knocked on the door. They allowed him in. He came in there and talked to her, and he didn't punch the wall while the conversation was happening. It's not like he ran up to her and did like some comical punch the wall next to her. Like, no, I don't think that that's what happened. I think he punched the wall.
He didn't super kick the door in? Because I'm like, this all sounding like you were capping this. I'm like, this is all sounding.
It does sound very much like deja vu, doesn't it? Because
like,
I was thinking that.
Thinking
that when everything was happening, the way the stories came out, where you could tell it felt like one side of the story came out and was reported, and then the other side came out and was leaked. I was like, boy, this seems very, very familiar, doesn't it?
This is I've been here before, I think.
But yeah, again, there's two ways to look at this. Where he came in there and he was already upset about other things because There's been rumors about them not liking each other for a while. This is not new. I don't know if you guys remember. There's a wrestling interview where Britt is talking, and they asked about Cody's neck tattoo. Have you seen this?
I have seen this.
And Britt then tells a story about Max's reaction to it. And before she even gets into it, she goes, I don't know if I should be even saying this, but whatever, fuck Max. I was like, yo, what?
Yeah.
And this is in the middle of an interview. It's just like on camera. If you go and Google it, you can find it.
You can see it.
And there's another interview where she did something similar, where she threw some shots at him. And I think maybe some people just thought maybe she's just working, maybe she's just in character. But when you couple it with this, it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
So I definitely feel like because there's an investigation here, and for him to get this upset about it and go to the office, I don't believe that this was the first incident. I believe that there were multiple incidents either between him and her, or there's been multiple incidents with her and other people. Because I don't feel like if this is just an isolated incident, they would have suspended her.
No, I don't think you could be suspended off of some gossip, a little bit of yelling, and some he said, she said. This feels like, this was like the straw that broke the camel's back in these incidents. Her just coming back there's a lot of interesting things attached to this. Her, first of all, I think Max and Britt beef so much is because they're the female and male version of each other. Like Britt Baker is female Max MJF. That's why this whole thing is happening. Max getting his girlfriend to work there, or however this whole thing happened. Alicia too, she's great. Like them being together and then her being there, and this happening after her not being there for that long. Interesting stuff. Max being involved in women's locker room talk. All interesting stuff. There's supposed to be like etiquette and things that happen, and the lines are walked very fine.
This is true. There is a fine line there, and I can see this feeling very weird if she's in the locker room. It's just like, well, wait a minute. What can we say around you that we don't know that you're not going back and telling him? But if I'm in the room and I'm with somebody and you know I'm with this person and you then start like talking shit about them in front of me, do you not expect me to tell them?
I think she expected her to tell them.
Because this isn't like you just said something about some random wrestler and then Alicia went and told them. This isn't like, all right, let's just throw, for example, she's just in there like, man, that's Trent Beretta. And then she went and told Trent Beretta and he got mad. No, this is her boyfriend. Like,
well, look at it. This is how I'm looking at it, Phil. If Britt has probably been say Britt's been doing this for 3 years. She's been like, all she's ever done. I don't know if this is the thing. When she's in the locker room, she be talking shit about Max. Let's say that. She comes back from being injured, and the first time she does it, all of a sudden he knows. That's crazy. If this is what my life is, I've been back here saying this guy's blah, 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 dragging him. And now all of a sudden he knows about it. That's crazy. You know?
Yeah, but I have to assume, I don't think
Britt probably didn't even think I have to change my fucking behavior.
But I don't think it was like Alicia was like somewhere in there like hiding behind a trash can, like writing it down on a little steno pad or something like that. Like, I got her. Like, I don't think that's what happened here. I have to assume that Britt probably knew she was there.
I feel like Britt did this on purpose. Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, there's so many things about that are weird. And then, of course, as always with these things, and this is what I was saying earlier with the Devon thing we talked about, we don't ever know the whole story.
No.
Whenever we hear these things that
we
are
don't
like
know
gossip,
what happened in that
gossip or he said, she said, we're not getting the whole story. We're getting a small percentage of the story. And that's why I'm like, it has to be more to it than what we know. It has to be more than just this incident. I don't think this is just, all right, these two got into this one argument, and because if it was just that and it got that heated, then I don't think she would have gotten punished like this.
Right.
Just a hunch. I don't know.
That's how it feels to me. Like I don't think like this one thing could lead to that. They're probably like, damn, again, we have to do something at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, the elephant in the room with this also is that Britt has been involved in other things backstage.
I say, damn,
I mean, there's the Thunder Rosa stuff that
very documented,
very documented. That it's some very vague stuff going on with that, and is a bunch of stuff that we're still not clear on. And then of course there was the whole Lufisto fiasco last year. Well, Lufisto said things about her in the Shawn interview, and people swore up and down that it wasn't true. And of course, Lufisto this week got on her victory lap of, "Hey guys, y'all told me I was bugging," but she did the whole Oprah gif of
"Told you so."
So I don't know. That's where I'm like, there's got to be more to this than what we know. And I think people jumping to conclusions. Like I saw some people saying, well, if it was just they both got into a heated argument, why did just one person get suspended? And that's where I get into my, I don't know, man. It seems like this isn't just an isolated incident.
Right, exactly. Yeah, if one person got suspended out of this, that means something. You know, if it was heated, as they say.
Yeah, and then you can also think about it this way as well. Before any of this started happening, we weren't getting a lot of this backstage drama stuff. We weren't hearing much. And then Britt came back at Forbidden Door. Something changed. One element got added here. And
starting to hit the fan again. Yeah.
Something changed, and that's where also I'm looking like, I don't know, man. That's a hell of a coincidence.
It is. It is. Yeah, like we don't hear about nothing. No stories are coming out, and all of a sudden the stories are back out. It's like, what's happening here?
Yeah, and again, there's so much stuff we don't know, so I can't say anything for certain. We don't know what was said. We don't know what is the timeline of this. There's too much that we don't know to just completely editorialize it. For me, it just seems like there's
a lot of it looks crazy.
It looks crazy, and then, like I said, it just seems like there's a pattern here. Maybe it's just me, but it seems like a pattern.
Right, just how everything was handled and the timelines of the events. It seems like this wasn't an isolated thing, and I don't. Sammy Guevara's looking back like a week, 1 or 2 weeks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand the suspension length and what does that do?
Yeah, there's a suspension and a fine. And that's why I'm like, even the length of it, that's why I'm like, I don't know, guys. Because
like, people, you don't come to work for 2 weeks, but you're still getting a gigantic match in the month.
You're still getting one of the biggest matches on this show.
Everything just looks crazy.
But and some people in the chat are saying Max came back recently too, and that's fair. But Max has been back since May.
I said they're the woman and man version of each other. That's why. Listen, wrestling locker rooms are wrestling locker rooms. Wrestlers are wrestlers. None of this is shocking. Like, oh yeah, some wrestlers beef in the locker room and somebody got suspended. That's pretty normal.
Hey, newsflash: wrestlers don't like each other, and these things kind of boil over all the time. And this is, again, I don't want to keep focusing on this Devon thing. This is where I'm thinking, because look, people don't like each other. It happens all the time, and people don't like each other for a bunch of reasons that may or may not have to do with reality. It might be just, hey, I heard something, and so now I'm hanging on to that. It might be like, oh, I seen you do something publicly that looks crazy. Now I'm on your neck. The things that these guys beef over, the stories that I've heard, the gossip that happens, it just feels like this is more common than people believe.
And you get to like create narratives and I'm thinking of like, say Mercedes came in, Britt was out, people created the narrative about Britt that they that they wanted to. They create these things, people talk, like one thing leads to another, tell a wrestler, like there's so many elements kind of combined with this, and a lot of it boils over often, and some of it we hear about and some of it we don't hear about. So it's like, it's unfortunate. Just get to the fucking graps, you guys.
And of course it's messy. This is the same thing that I did not like 2 years ago or a year ago when this was the Hangman and Punk stuff, where people are taking sides based on who I like. And as I've said many times, you don't know these people.
You don't know
I don't
nobody.
know any of these people involved in this, but
Mm-mm.
I do know that, like I said, it looks like there's a pattern here, and it does look like when you add certain elements into this, it went awry.
I don't know what happened here.
Of course, neither of us know anything. It's just it just looks away. It looks crazy, and I just wish, as I did before, at the same time when we talked about the Punk stuff, is that, hey man, we don't need to know a lot of this stuff.
Mm-mm.
There's falling outs that me and you knew about that never made it public, and it's just like, bro, this stuff doesn't need to be news. It's not news that
It's
two
not
people
news.
aren't getting along.
Especially a man and a woman wrestler who are never going to wrestle. Like, none of this, they shouldn't even be in the same conversation. Like, what is, you know what I mean? What is this?
Yeah. And it's just never going to be talked about in a rational way by fans, because fans are going to pick sides.
And everybody's speculating. And
Yeah,
that's the main thing. Everybody's just picking sides. It don't even matter what the real story is. They're just like, oh, my favorite.
No, it doesn't matter what the truth is. I
Mhm.
currently don't like this guy,
Mhm.
and I'm excited for what Britt is doing. And so, no.
Because people heard the part about Max punching the wall, and that turned into some crazy
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, the energy around it is strange, because I very much think that people are painting it like, all right, this guy got into a back and forth. And anytime you have a man and a woman
Mhm.
in a back and forth, and it is perceived a way like a man is yelling at a woman,
Yep.
and then he went and told, and then she got in trouble and he didn't. I think
Mhm.
that's where people are trying to make it look like, oh, well, what was he doing, or what was said? And I think people are putting some perceptions on this that may or may not be true. I think people are jumping to conclusions. I saw some other rumors attached to it that were just like, where did this even come from? What are you guys even talking about?
How did you get that?
How
Like,
did-
where'd you
how
get
did-
there?
How did you attach this to it? It's just strange.
That's why we don't need to know everything. Like, because people are going to start to form their own opinions, create their own narratives about this whole thing. Now, this is something else that it never even should have started at. It's really unfortunate, and especially because, like, AEW has been putting on great dynamites. They got a huge show coming up, and like, they don't need this shit, man. The stuff at Comic-Con was fun. Like, they did a bunch of fun stuff, and they've been doing stuff, and like, more bullshit rumors come out, and it's like, nobody want to hear that.
No, I have no interest in this. I really wish this would have been handled behind closed doors. We did not need to hear about it. And just move forward. But it again, when you're dealing with these kind of things, it feels like one side is trying to position their story one way, and then the other is trying to position their side, and this is where we get with it. It's just messy for no reason.
So messy.
Yeah, and then that also turned into, boy, Twitter was very annoying.
It was awful this week.
God, it was annoying. This also turned into, because there's drama again. Well, I thought you guys told me that Punk was the biggest problem over there. He was the guy leaking things. I'm just like, guys, he gone. It's over.
He gone. What he got to do with this?
Yeah, somebody tried to do that with me, and because I said I don't really like how people are talking about my friend. Well, Punk, it's like, what does Punk have to do with any? What does he have to do with any of this?
How is Punk in this?
How is he in this?
He's gone, dude. He's about to main event a fucking show for the other company, you guys. But yeah, I saw a lot of that too, of people being like, I thought the drama was gonna end. It's still gonna be a wrestling locker room, regardless if CM Punk's in it. Like, there's still,
I didn't buy that either.
There's still 100 personalities in there. It don't matter where it is. It's still gonna be some friction back there. Testosterone, estrogen. There's all kind of crazy shit going on back there.
I never bought that the second he was gone. All right, well, the problem is gone, so everything should be smooth now. It's like, it's wrestling. It's fine.
Room. Yeah, and his problems are gonna be gone, but there's still gonna be problems back there
because it's wrestling.
And a problem could start as easy as this person's winning the match tonight. Like, that's
how
what I'm saying.
The problem could start. The things that wrestlers beef about It's
Like they don't understand how petty wrestlers are, you guys.
yeah, the
It's
things that
crazy.
the wrestlers or people backstage beef about, people would be surprised how minuscule it is.
I mean, we've seen people beef over colors, you guys, and
Bro,
not
hair
gang
color.
members. You know what I mean? Hair colors.
Hair
And
color.
that's real beef too, not just Twitter beef. This is real. I'm taking this to my grave. I hate this person.
Somebody used a move that they weren't supposed to do.
Oh
Somebody
my
did this.
God,
It's just
dog.
it's all
He
kinds of
said
stuff.
he said the word that I said. Like, you guys do not understand the levels. That's also why it's when fans get involved, I'm like, you don't even know what you're getting involved in, dude. Like, these people are beefing over Pop-Tarts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to war and trying to kill people, and these people are beefing over wrist tape. That's like, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah. But
Wrist
yeah,
tape. I've seen wrestlers beef over wrist tape, you guys. There is no line here.
yeah, I hope that this is resolved. I'm not naive enough to believe that it will be, but I hope that this is resolved because I've never felt like this kind of thing happens where one person is punished and they go away and then they come back and everything is smooth.
Is there wrestler court still? I need to talk to some wrestlers because that's what needs to happen.
I don't know. I don't know if there's wrestler court there for sure.
I don't know there. I'm sure there's wrestler court at the other place. Randy Orton's there.
Yeah. That was funny as well. Some of that narrative that I saw where people like, well, you don't ever see any of this stuff happen at WWE. Like, no, I'm sure that stuff happens over there. We just don't hear about it.
They're just
because it's not leaking.
That's all I was going to say. They're just a little bit better at keeping it under wraps. That's all.
Yeah. But
I don't. People ain't beefing up there. Haha, that's hella funny.
It's egos. There's egos everywhere.
There you go. It's egos and people that are on TV making millions of dollars, championships and money and all this stuff is being exchanged. Huge egos, giant egos. I make millions more than you and I have to blah, blah, blah. They're so...
You think... So you just think everybody was happy with Roman being champion for 3 years?
Drew was telling you every week, this is some bullshit.
Drew was in interviews basically like, what's going on? When is this going to be over?
Mm-hmm.
Sheamus, same thing. When is this going to be over?
Same thing. What is this? Why are we doing this? Seth.
Rollins been outright like, yo, what is going on?
What is this shit? And they probably like, oh, that's fun character work. No, there's some truth in there, though.
Yeah, that was a very funny time when I was coming on here like, guys, yeah, this guy don't look happy. Well, he's working. I don't think that guy was working.
There's some work in there, but there's some extras. So yeah, that's just it, you guys. This will happen it's been happening for the last 100 years in pro wrestling, and it'll happen for the next 100 pro years.
It's gonna be petty beefs over things all the time. I mean, man, you look right now, there's petty wrestling media beef. So you think those guys back there in locker rooms are not beefing over some stupid stuff?
What are we doing, you guys?
Yeah. I be seeing a lot of stuff.
What are we doing?
I see a lot of stuff, man. I saw in relation to the thing we opened the show with, I seen certain people getting their victory laps in and doing their points, and I told you so, and I just looked and I was just like, man, must be crazy to talk about us all the time, and I never talk about you. Maybe one day.
Don't even know what you boys look like. It's crazy.
Must be crazy, man.
Crazy.
Waste all your time talking about somebody that don't give you any attention. Wouldn't be me.
What? Why? There's weed.
There's something, man.
I could be beefing with you boys or smoke weed. I'm gonna go smoke weed. See you later. I don't care.
Yeah, or I thought we all were in this to watch wrestling and talk about wrestling.
Dog. Did you see the match?
No.
They don't care about matches. What a time. Let's get into some super chats. Hey, what's over there says, I mean, in another timeline, Cody is facing off against the Bloodline and War Games match with the Bucks, Hangman, and Kenny. And I hope if Drew beats Punk, he says, cry me a river into the camera. He's going to do some kind of bit for sure.
Oh, he's definitely going to do some kind of bit. No, that the Elite versus the Bloodline sounds insane. I don't see that. I don't see a world where that ever happened.
They
Maybe
talked
some
about it
wild
this
alternate
week.
timeline.
Who's the homie that there was a quote this week if he said he's not interested in that?
Oh, wasn't it Chris Legento?
Yeah. That's his name. I keep seeing that guy, the Legento. I'm like, what's the bit?
Yeah, I see people make their conspiracy theories around him because he used to be I think head of PR, and I don't remember what is his title now.
Oh, okay, that's the bit. Okay, that makes more sense. Because I'm always like, why are people always talking about this guy? But now, okay.
Yeah, people think that people are doing their whole access merchant and doing things based off him. You know, the people that put those numbers out and stuff. That's where we keep seeing the Legento activities and all that other stuff.
Gotcha. Dots are now being connected. Hey, what's over there? Also says Shane showing up in AEW is a bit straight out of BTE Classic. Honestly, yeah.
That's why I'm like, if it was just like a one-off thing and you got the jokes off, great. But I just don't buy that he would come in just for a one-off.
If they do what he comes out and waves or does something at All In and that's it, okay.
Yeah.
But I just I'm on your side. I can't believe that he would do one thing though. I just can't. He's a big man.
No, he's gonna try and negotiate for a bag. He's not gonna negotiate
bro,
and come get this one off and leave.
You think the bro likes sneakers? He's not trying to get a bag. He's trying to get like 20 bags, you guys.
This dude 2 years ago was trying to politic his way into looking strong in a Royal Rumble match. You think he just gonna come over there and just do one thing and peace out? No.
Just 2 years ago, the bro was trying to essentially go over in the Royal Rumble. That's crazy,
bro. This dude ain't going. Nah, man.
Bags. I'm sure before that meeting, he's like, how much money are we talking? I'm not coming for like some bullshit. That's Shane McMahon, you guys, a millionaire's kid. Been a millionaire's kid his whole life. You know the game?
Yeah.
That's what they were talking about, being a millionaire's kid their whole life, huh? J Blood 79 says Shane, an executive to firm up the infrastructure of the company, is a great look. If it actually helps you operationally, high risk might work.
Again, that sounds good in theory, but you think he's interested in going over there to do a behind the scenes job? You think he's interested in going over there and being an executive and not an on screen character?
Nah,
I don't see that.
I can't see that. It's possible. I just can't see it.
Yeah.
And why bringing him in again? Name attached for not all the benefits. That doesn't really make sense for it. Why would that make sense? You know?
No, I'm good.
Because he's not like this. Like people don't talk about in history. Like, well, Shane McMahon really blah 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 did this backstage, and he was doing all like he's not known for that. It again just be the name essentially. Van Twinblade says, "Y'all, we been know Britt was a mean girl, not shocked." I mean, I don't know Britt. I know her on camera, but you know.
I don't know anything for a fact.
Yeah, I don't know nothing for a fact. Lady B says, I just keep wondering how the stuff keeps getting out from AEW. Sure, wrestlers in every company are beefing all the time, and we don't hear about it. The leaks seem calculated in coincidence.
Well, you know when something like this happens, and then, like I said, one person's story comes out, and then immediately the other person's story comes out. You know what that is? That's both sides trying to control the narrative. Yeah. So no. The timing of them, I don't think they're coincidences. But again, I don't know who's leaking them. So
the issue is the game works a lot different. 20 years ago, Meltzer he had sources in WWE, and a lot of them weren't wrestlers. Like he could go to a writer, he can go to somebody in a different space and get the news that he needed. Now the wrestler will DM Meltzer directly if they talk about him. If Meltzer talks about him in the newsletter, he'll DM them direct. The wrestlers will DM him directly to get to retraction or say what the news is. Like he could talk to them directly now, so things can get out way easier. And wrestlers will talk. That's the biggest thing. Is like, so if you know some information, they'll give it up. They'll talk to Meltzer. They'll talk to Wade. They'll talk to anybody. They'll talk to Sean Rossap. Like the game is just so different now. So people continuously talk about what the company could do. I don't know if the company will ever do anything, because like, how do you stop wrestlers from talking?
And I mean, to be fair, that is also that's the reporter's job. You should, before you put something out, you should vet this. And if you're gonna put something out that said something like this about two people, you should give them the chance to give their side of the story, and you should allow them the dignity to, say what really happened from their perspective.
Facts.
Because it doesn't really help if you just come out and put something out just based off on rumors. And I don't think anybody did that. I think if this was given to somebody, I'm pretty sure their source was pretty valid. I don't think it would have been reported if they did not have more than one source or something.
It kind of felt like the timeline of this was like Mercedes did the promo on Wednesday, and I think people were like, "Oh, is this real?" And they like went to do investigation, and I think it just one thing led to another. Is what it feels like to me. I don't know exactly what happened, but I feel like Meltzer or somebody heard Mercedes say she's suspended and was like, "Oh, let me do some work and some diligence and find out what happened." And then, "Oh, this happened too. Oh, this happened too. Oh, this happened too." You know how fucking wrestling is.
Maybe, but yeah. Because it's really, and this again, when you get into just gossip or rumors, it's really irresponsible to just get on any outlet and just report something that's gossip. Facts. And I don't think that that's what happened here. This isn't the old days, like you said. This isn't the days where dirt sheets would just put out anything.
Yeah, no, it don't happen.
The whole landscape is a little bit more sophisticated than it used to be.
Like if people be trying to get like 5 sources and shit before they put stories out, like. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like people be trying to do their due diligence for real.
There are multiple times when Sean will report something, and I know more than one person that may have had that same story, but they didn't have enough of a source, and they didn't vet it enough to put it out.
Right. It's complicated. Some people really do work out here, and they don't just aggregate and bullshit.
Yeah, which again, that's what the reporter should be doing. You shouldn't be just getting on and sharing gossip or just putting some rumor, some unvetted rumor on your outlet.
Right.
That's irresponsible.
Bianca Leia says, I'm going to my first AEW pay-per-view in Chicago for All Out. With the 2 pay-per-views being so close together, will it come close to the similar energy as All In?
I don't think so. Because I mean, compared to last year, it wasn't the same energy at all. And I mean, there's an argument that the All Out card was better.
I thought so.
And it's going to be different too. It's not going to be in United Center this year. It's going to be Now Arena, so it's not going to have that same big stadium feel. So I think it's going to be fairly different. But I could see them having a good card. You've got a lot of stories coming in to All In that you might not be able to fit on that card, and so you have like leftover matches that you can put on All Out. I think it's going to be a lot different from last year, because at least you had a 2-week build between it, and then also you've got so much stuff coming up. Like, for example, you could go and not put Willow versus Statlander on this all in card, and you have a match straight away that you have ready for All Out.
Yep. And then you have like, say you have some people return at All In, then they have a big match at All Out as their first match back. Like there's a lot to do with that. That's what I was worried about last year, it being so close. I'm like, well, is All Out going to kind of get muddy? But no, All Out was one of the funnest shows that we went to last year. So I'm hoping that they could kind of do that again. And I feel like they could, because they have so many stories going in and coming out of All Out, All In. It's going to be some good stuff coming up here in the next month. Hey, what's over there says, whatever executive that said the AEW crossover won't happen didn't realize that it's a TKO decision. And if the money is right, it will happen.
I just don't see it.
I don't think so.
I don't think they want to give any kind of promotion to their biggest competition. I don't see it happening at all, because TNA is different. TNA is not their biggest competitor.
They have some people outside too. Here in Cleveland, or there in Cleveland, I saw that Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa were out at the AIW show. Like, they'll let them do stuff like that. People that aren't a threat, it don't matter. Like, yeah, go do that. But people that are like AEW, way different.
Yeah, all the small potatoes over there, y'all. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Get you some. And then Will Chisholm says, people talking about Shane like it's 1998 Shane, and that guy wasn't good. Yeah, exactly. They're talking about him like 20 years ago when he was doing stunts. No. Last time we saw him, he was breakdancing because his leg was fucked up. That's all of our super chats. I appreciate y'all. I don't want that brother to be hurt, and I don't want to see him get hurt.
No, I definitely don't want to see Shane get hurt.
Come on.
I definitely want to see people take care of each other. That's why I'm like, when people are like, y'all don't want to see the big Darby stunt match, bro, this dude is going to be 60 in a minute, bro. No, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
Like 3 giant kids. And I feel like Shane's kid's going to be in WWE soon, too. So, like, how long? This is just a formality.
Oh, his kid, this football player?
What's his name? Like Declan or something like that?
Yeah.
Declan McMahon. Yeah, like, he's on his way.
Yeah.
He'll be back. Shane will be back home very soon.
Yeah, speaking of which, shout out to Mark Henry's son.
Oh, yeah.
He just announced that he got a contract. That's
dude.
dope. He did the amateur wrestling as well. So, man, hopefully that works out. Of course, he's got, some big shoes to fill with Mark Henry. But, I mean, with him, because Mark has helped other wrestlers get over there. I mean, he was instrumental in getting Bianca over there. So, if he could do the same for his son, I think that's great.
I didn't know that the homie wanted to be a wrestler, a pro wrestler. So I had seen him, breaking weightlifting records and like wrestling and doing all this. So yeah, he's going to be a force to reckon with. Like you said, Mark has been such a great influence post his wrestling career over so many incredible black talents like Jade and all these people like attribute Mark, the big homie, Powerhouse Hobbs, like all these people like attribute Mark giving great advice and being one of those guys. So I'm sure that's going to be amazing for his son to be able to have his dad along for that ride. That's dope.
Yeah.
Congrats to him. WWE is sending them contracts out, brother. Who wants one? You want one?
Them contracts is like flying out the door.
I'm saying.
Is that all of our super chats?
That's all of them.
Let's get into remainder of these humper chats, and then got a little bit more from Dynamite to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I don't know why I started thinking of 3-6 Mafia, and for some reason, Will Chisholm was also thinking of 3-6 Mafia. Just give his Don the 3-6 Mafia theme.
I think he's saying give his son the
give his son the 3-6 Mafia thing.
Yeah, I mean Jacob coming out to 3-6 Mafia would be kind of dope.
Oh, every time somebody brings up that clip, it's so amazing. The one where 3-6 Mafia performed live for them, that was in Bakersfield.
Oh, really?
That was one of the most shocking things of my life. Is I'm at this live show, and then at the SmackDown, and they're setting. I'm like, what are they setting up? And then 3-6 Mafia comes. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah, amazing moment. That was in Bakersfield.
Wow.
Yeah. Bakersfield has had some moments. I don't know why they gave it up to us so much.
Bakersfield, bang, bang, bang.
Yes.
You know what I'm referencing, of course, when I did that. I don't know why I think about that all the time from the Temptations movie when they were in the bathroom and my man Blue hit the Waco's kids, bang, bang, bang.
Yes.
There's so many references from the Temptations movie that I think of all the time. It just lives rent free in my head.
I don't think it's crazy the way that like movies work in our culture, because like for my entire life that movie has been that and what's the other famous
The Jackson, The American Dream?
Not the Jacksons one. It's the Temptations and the
5 Heartbeats?
5 Heartbeats, yeah. Those movies have been referenced in my life every year for my entire life. And I think it's going to continue to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you think eventually, like, they'll stop, but there's a generation, like, my cousins will quote that shit forever. It's wild.
Nah, it's specific stuff from Five Heartbeats that I quote all the time as well.
Guess that's just our generation. It's wild. I love it.
Shout out to Robert Townsend. Absolute legend.
The big homie.
See, we got some Humper Chats. Again, if you want to send us your Humper Chats, humperchats.com/Fightful. We've got more from Tony P. He says, so with one stipulation, Swerve/Danielson is must see. The ultimate story of victory/defeat. The story they suddenly have is just perfect. Hell, I think this was the long-term plan. Think about it. The man who believes through giving up his morals and loved ones was needed for his success versus a star who was humbled, had setbacks, had to find himself again, with his loved ones backing him, and worked his way back to his final shot at his original goal. In my opinion, near the end of the match, Swerve needs to be on the brink of beating Bryan, only to have Bree and Birdie come out ringside, fueling Bryan to beat Swerve, poetically telling the story of family, the thing Swerve forsaken the most, was pushed by Bryan to win. I think what they're doing with that match is very, very smart.
Do you see that, Phil? They're telling a long-term story. They didn't just put this together 2 weeks ago. It's crazy.
I mean, I got on here and broke down all the story beats for people initially. Yeah. But I thought the segment was very good. I thought the way that they paced the segment was very smart, having Bryan come out and address the crowd and talked about, his career and how he got here and what he wanted when he initially came to the company, and how he's fallen short in some ways, and he made the promise of, I will win an AEW championship. Currently, Bryan Danielson is technically a free agent. He is not on contract. He is not a contracted AEW wrestler.
Yeah. August 1st.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, All in London is going to be his last match as a full-time wrestler. That's crazy. I mean, just crazy to think about. If he wanted, he could, for some reason, pull out of this match because he contractually doesn't have to do it.
If he was one of those guys, he could be like, I'm not going to show up. That's crazy. This was I was talking about on the post show this week how great of a promo Bryan Danielson is, Phil.
Yes.
Because in this promo, he said a bunch of points that we already knew. He said a bunch of points that he's already given up in different interviews, but like, he's so great at doing it that we bit on every moment. Like every time he was like, this might be my last match. We already knew it's going to be your last. We already knew this, but it still was like, we're hearing it for the first time. And the way that he presented it was wild. And I knew, because coming into this, everybody being like, the Hangman thing was hanging prevalent. We talked about it last week on the pod. People being like, should have been Hangman. I can't believe this is Bryan Danielson. What are you guys doing? But I'm like, let Bryan talk and explain why he's in this match, and everything will change. And that's what happened.
I mean, I still think some people are still going to feel like it should have been Hangman. But I think they did two really good things this week. They continued to tell the story of Hangman being self-destructive. And so, no, he's not supposed to be rewarded with everything he wants, because he's shown that he's lost sight of everything in just trying to get revenge, just trying to hurt people. And no, he shouldn't be rewarded with the big title match, because the reason he's not getting the match is his fault.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like he did this to himself. That's the point. That's how we kind of got here. But yeah, I think Bryan getting into that and kind of getting us to bite on the story was great. But then Swerve coming out and just being like, good job. Great, man. I love your career. Awesome. All of that. That's cool. But this is personal, as always, because this championship is involved. You think that I'm going to play a little pawn in the ending of your story? You got another thing coming. The confidence that Swerve kind of exuded. And we talked about, because remember last week, we were like, I don't want to see a face versus face match. Like, that's not what this is going to be, because Swerve is going to come in here with a different swag. And that's exactly what he did.
I told you guys. When that was said in our chat that he was not going to come in this. It was just going to be a simple face versus face match, because they've been telling this story all along with Swerve as champion, where, yeah, he's a baby face, but also we've done a great job of continuing the story of how did he get here? How did he become champion? And the entire time as champion, he's not only had to face consequences of what he did as a bad guy, but he's also kind of looked around like, it was worth it though. Can you tell me I was wrong? Because I got here. I had to do all of those things to get here. And so having that whole feud with Ospreay, and Ospreay's just playing around, and he's like, bro, this is serious for me. This is personal. If you want this, it's personal, and I will do anything to keep this. I did anything to get here. It did not change. I will do anything to keep this around my waist. And so coming out there, and Brian is tugging at the heartstrings and saying all the things to get us to believe, like, yeah, this is going to be a great moment for him. He's going to win at Wembley Stadium. And Swerve's like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is it. Like, this guy's just going to come in. This guy that beat me in a tournament, I never got my rematch. You think this guy? This is it? Hey, I love Brian as much as the next guy. He started the promo by saying that. Like, hey, man, big influence on a lot of guys. Everybody was rooting for you. If I was not champion, I would be rooting for you. But the fact is, I am champion. And I ain't just going to roll over and let you win.
I'm not going to come here and lose in this big moment just because it's your last final time as a full-time champion. Not what this is. Really, really great story for Swerve to tell of like, yo, you're kind of one of the things that I haven't gotten to rectify coming up, going into becoming world champion. There's all these things that I, you wanted to do as champion. And the last thing I think is beating you because I still have that on my record.
Yeah. And the thing that I love about Swerve as a character, and it's the thing that I often hate about a really good heel when they do turn, is that they lose all of the characteristics that they had when they were heel. Everything that got them over as a heel, then they become a baby face and they become too squeaky clean. He's kept all of the character traits that he brought from being a heel, where as soon as he's backed against the wall, he's going to turn back into that guy because it's like, no, this is personal for me. And so I just think all the character beats he did in this segment were great. He got some bars off when he told him, hey man, you got your Ospreay match. You wanted that match because you said that you were the best in the world. I am the best in the world. I got the match with him and I beat him. You got your match against the Elite at Anarchy in the Arena. You lost. I beat them. I led Team AEW to a win.
Yeah.
There's no more for you to do here. You think you're going to wave the flag and come in and kick some young kids' head in? Hey, you kicked all of their heads in until they started kicking back. Yo, I mean,
yeah.
And he was like, man, last year I was at that show. I had a big marquee match at that show. You couldn't even get there. You were hurt. You couldn't even get on a flight. I was like, bro, I mean, the facts.
I'm like, this is real too. Damn, this is kind of happening this year too. You're almost not making it. Like the realness and the Swerve needs that confidence, because it's like, no, you guys are talking about like this is the big Bryan Danielson moment, but I'm here too. I'm the champion going into this show. Y'all are still talking crazy about me.
Yeah, I just love how everything up to this point has built into the story. Brian's entire run with the company has built into this moment, and also Swerve's entire time with the company has built into this, because it feels like Swerve in a lot of ways is saying, hey man, you had your moment.
Yep.
You had your moment at top. When you were over there at WWE, you did it. You were the guy that none of us thought could make it to those heights as the indie guy, as a smaller guy, and you did it. I don't need to just give you your moment because you had it. This is my time now.
Yeah. This is I knew that they were going to get to this point of people being into the match. I didn't know that the stipulation would be would bring it over the thing, but it makes sense because like adding the elephant in the room was this is Brian's last full year as a full-time wrestler. And we know that he's going to be winding down, but it needs to be like, we need a visual representation. We need that stamp of like, oh no, this really could be it. We need that little bit of mystery of like, we might not ever see Bryan Danielson again after this match.
Yes. And I think the way they played that up was good. Swerve talked all of his shit and he got ready to walk away, and Brian called him back and said, wait a minute. This isn't just title versus title. will be a title versus career match. If I lose, I will never wrestle again. And the second he said that, I was like, okay, I don't believe you. That makes me believe that you're going to win. But it also feeds into the storyline because, again, if you want me to believe that Swerve is a guy that would do anything to keep his spot, then he don't care about that. Hey, man, if you're never going to wrestle again, why is that my problem? And he told you right away, hey, don't keep that promise to me. Keep that promise to your family. Don't wrestle again. And if that's the story, because I'm not going to take it easy on you just because that means that you might be able to get this way to ride off into sunset and have more matches after this. No, if you're telling me your career's on the line, cool, then retire.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, why are we doing this? Like, we could just do the retirement. No, tells a good story too, and adds some stakes to Swerve's side of like, well, why am I defending the championship against this for? What does he have? Like now, getting revenge on you would also be ending your career. Sounds great to me.
Yeah, I'm in, but I've been sold from the beginning.
Yeah,
because
I didn't need this.
It's Brian. It's Swerve. They're getting this big main event match. I think the story that they're telling is great. I think that all of the story and the build of Brian winning to Owen and everything that means to his career. I mean, again, this is Brian. Come on, man. At some point, Brian has to win that belt, man. I've been saying that for 2 years now. He cannot have a time with this company and never win that belt.
Yeah, no, before it's all said and done, before he does fully wind down, like that's why this moment needs to happen, because we have to see him as AEW World Champion. What this company represents, what he represents, it's only fitting. If it's for a month, it's for a week, or whatever it is, it has to happen. I'm so happy that Swerve is attached to this. Like, their career trajectories, where they're from, like all of this makes so much sense. We're Lady B sent in, while we're talking about Bryan Danielson, we could get into the super chat. As a new AEW fan, I missed most of Bryan's AEW run. Which matches are must see? Love the show.
How far are you going back? Because I would say the Iron Man match with Max. I'm assuming you've seen the Ospreay match.
I would I hope so. If not, you better watch that today.
I mean, at the beginning of his run, you got the Kenny Omega match, of course.
Gotta watch the Kenny matches. Yeah,
the Suzuki match, which was incredible, and we weren't even supposed to get that match. It was just like a random
about that match. That was so fire. Yeah,
random YouTube match.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that Brian came straight in and they gave away a free Suzuki match.
They did.
The both of the Hangman matches. Those kind of matches were great. The initial Moxley match at Revolution, that one was also great. The Starks match last year from All Out.
Yep. Honestly, just watch all the Brian. I'm thinking of this. He had a random match with, I think I was there, versus Roosh, maybe like in Fresno or something. That was crazy.
Yeah. He's got a lot of them. I mean, a lot of his run in the Continental Classic as well.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot to go back. In his first year, guy was having great matches on TV almost every week.
Yeah, it was like everything we had kind of hoped for with Bryan Danielson being away from WWE. He started going full force into it as soon as he got into AEW. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, even during the Max feud, he was having that run where he was having all the TV matches. Those matches were very good as well.
There's like a Bandito match in there.
The Bandito match, the Brian Cage match, I don't know that was actually excellent.
Man, there's a Takeshita match too, ain't there?
Yes.
Man. So yeah, all of them. Just watch. Anything you haven't seen of Bryan Danielson, just watch it.
He's got a trilogy of Eddie Kingston matches as well.
The Eddie Kingston matches. The Daniel Garcia matches?
Oh, the 2 out of 3 falls match. The
Come
Garcia
on,
match.
Yeah, bro. Yo, Brian's resume in AEW is insane.
He's got a Wrestle Dream match at home with the Zack Sabre match. Zack Sabre match was one of my favorite matches from last year too.
I was there. That match was so fucking good. I was in the crowd just like, what are we watching? You know, when you see those matches where you're just like, I don't know what this is. Like, that's usually when I watch Lucha, but like what they were doing in that match, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, incredible. I hope that we helped you. I hope that we helped you, Lady B, because we just have named a ton of matches.
Pretty much every match that he's had. But yeah, he's winding down regardless. That's where I was trying to lead it to. This match, you know what I mean? Like win or loss, like the full-time Bryan Danielson as we know him is about to be over, and it's approaching, and the resume tells it all. He could not do the match and he's still done it all. Like Bryan Danielson is the greatest wrestler of this generation, like by far, and he's still wrestling at a high level. If he wrestled for 10 more years, he'd still have 10 more years of amazing matches. It's wild.
Yeah, and there's some matches I wish that we got to, like, before. Man, I would have liked to seen a Cody match.
Yeah.
I hate that we never got the Punk match.
Both of those.
But man, what a run he's been on so far, man.
Yeah,
and I don't think he's going to be done.
No.
I do think he's going to win.
Yes.
I can't see him never wrestling again. This is Bryan Danielson.
Come on.
I don't see him never wrestling again.
No, he won't be wrestling every week, every month, but he'll still be wrestling. Come on. This guy loves wrestling. I'd be so shocked if he's like, I'm done, you guys. That'd be crazy.
But yeah,
like, even when they tried to force him to be done, he wasn't done.
Yeah. Based off of this story, what do you think Hangman's doing at this pay-per-view? Because I keep saying I think it's the Okada match. But I'm not sure.
What, Phil, they might be trying to get him against Jeff Jarrett. What? Like they announced that Bryan Danielson's going to wrestle Jeff Jarrett. They're wrestling Bryan and Jeff Jarrett this week, and they're still telling that story. I'm like, are they getting around to Jeff Jarrett and Hangman at All In? They can't be, right?
I don't see that at all.
What's going on here? Yeah, I still think it has to be Hangman and Okada at least.
That's
right?
what I would guess. I very selfishly, because I will be there. Hey man, don't do the match at that pay-per-view. Wait 2 weeks and give us Hangman versus Swerve.
That is funny. No title?
He doesn't need a title. You already have the story there.
Okay, I'm in.
But I don't know what are you gonna do with Hangman if he's not. Like I said, the Okada match seems like the big match, but if you do the Okada match, I have to assume Okada's gonna win.
Why do you assume that?
I just don't think Okada's. I don't think that if you're trying to tease that you still want to do this Omega match, I don't see anybody beating Okada until Omega shows up.
Very valid point. Nobody should if that's what we're leading to. So yeah. And I don't know if you want Hangman losing at All In. Okay, I'm seeing what you're putting out now.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one because what the trajectory of what he's doing now, it's like I think I would want him to have a big win at All In.
Yeah, I think he should win, or I think he should force his way into a match with Swerve. But I don't think it needs a title. I think the story of all of this has been Hangman crashing out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That amazing match this week on Dynamite too, with Hangman in the main event. Hangman and Darby Allin went white boy crazy against each other.
Super hot main event. It just reminds me every time when Darby's in these kind of situations. Darby's one of my favorite TV wrestlers, man, because you just know he's going to do something super unexpected. Even if he's not doing some crazy stunts, just the way he moves and rings, the way he wins his matches off of, his ingenuity, and he'll try to outsmart somebody. It never feels like he does anything that's out of character or he wins in some kind of unbelievable way. Like, I don't see him picking up some wrestler that's way bigger than him and doing like some crazy pile driver or something. He always wins in a way that makes sense with his character.
Yeah, I think Darby Allin's a top 5 TV wrestler right now, like by far. Like the way that his matches are structured, there's always some big crazy moment. And yeah, that important thing that you brought up there, he doesn't switch his move set. He doesn't try to do your moves. He doesn't do pile. Like he doesn't do nothing. He does Darby Allin. He's going to do the crazy coffin drops from different places. He's going to do like use his momentum to win the match and not anything of yours. It's great.
Yeah, but yeah, that match was so good. Darby has a bunch of main events under his belt where he's performed very well. Hangman continues to be one of the best characters in wrestling.
Hangman as a storyteller is
he's great.
wow.
That little bit in the match where because everything he's done, you could see the bitterness of not just the Swerve stuff, but everything. The way he lost the title, everything afterwards, in his own words, the cloud that was over his head all the time. And you could see how he's been letting all of those things fester for all this time. So yeah, when I see somebody else getting ready to do my move, fuck out of here, bro. I'm gonna clothesline you into the dirt. Stop playing with me. Like I could just see him sitting there watching
to do my fucking move in this match. What are you talking about?
I could just see him lining up to do that buckshot lariat, and he's getting up, and then like the second he looked up, he saw red and saw Punk getting ready to do it. He's like, "Nah, fuck this guy."
Punk, the two X's flash before his eyes. He's like, "Hell no! I'm about to kill this motherfucker."
Clothesline. Counter.
Yeah, I do like that. Hangman just like living off of hate, pretty much. He's like, but it's like his undoing. You know what I mean? Like that was the story of the match of like Hangman is so in over his head and frustrated and angry that he keeps getting caught in these different positions.
Yeah. I think the story they're telling with Hangman.
Great storyteller, man. I'm telling you.
I do think we're gonna get the Swerve match. I don't think it needed to happen at all in, and I just disagree with people that say it needed to be for the title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could get. I don't know if they need to get to it immediately at All Out. Selfishly, Phil wants to, but we got some big shows like Wrestle Dream and things coming up after that I think could use it too. They're about to be in Washington soon. Need a bannerman for that.
That'd be fine. Chicago, Illinois.
Or they could just wait until November and just do the proper Full Gear rematch.
Yeah, listen, Chicago,
First
Illinois.
time.
What is
Chicago, Illinois?
I wonder what Jack's doing at All In or All Out, because I'd have to assume you gotta do something big with Jack at All Out, because that crowd is going to boo him.
Do you think that Darby's going to beat him for the championship at All In?
I do. I think that Darby will be TNT champion again.
Same here. So you got to follow. Yeah, exactly. Then you have to follow up something big after that with Jack. Then.
Yeah, I don't know what though. And then Darby still has a world title match coming up at Grand Slam.
A lot going on with Darby.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind Darby winning the world title either, though. I think he deserves it. He is at least the second best pillar, or for some people, he's the best pillar.
I think with what we're doing, if we're leading from Brian, if Brian beats Swerve, like if we're looking at names to beat Brian, like Darby's super high up there. So,
yeah, I like to see it.
Yeah, like if he's the next world champion, like what he represents for this brand, like it actually would make a lot of sense. But then him also kind of taking back the reins of what feels like his championship or something he helped build as the TNT champion, like using the rest of the year as that also would make a lot of sense too,
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at it. I mean, he, in a lot of ways, is the best TNT champion.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's either him or Cody.
Right. So him, continuing to build that legacy some more would also make a lot of sense.
Yeah. I'd be fine with either.
Mm-hmm.
See, do we have any more humper chats?
We got a couple more humper chats. 2 more. Alan Jeanette says, I have weird feelings on Jeff Jarrett being a face, but he's been doing a great job. Do you think he's going to get involved in the match at All In?
I don't know. I think the idea of him having a match against Hangman sounds insane. I can't see that being Hangman match.
Because what's going on here? Like he's wrestling, but like he's still in the story. Like he was a part of the Blood and Guts. Like he's there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hangman.
They got to have something planned for him, but I don't think it's the Hangman match.
That is so funny. Shout out to Double J again. our favorite
ultimate finesser, man.
He's still here. He's still in the conversation. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Hey, what's over there says, if Ryan does win, do you guys think we get a Nigel or Joe title match? I think a Joe title match.
Yeah, I can see Joe before Nigel.
Nigel, I know he was trying to get the all-in match. That's out at this point. I don't know if it'll ever happen.
Me neither. That's why I'm like, it seems far off at this point.
I wanted to, but the Joe match 1000% will happen.
Yeah, I would love to see that one.
And then hey, what's over there also says TK is giving Darby all of these matches to keep him away from Mount Everest. Yeah, honestly, load it up. Give him the world title just so he won't do that.
Yeah, that it's so funny.
In his brain, he's still like, next year I'm going, you guys. I don't care. So that's all of our super chat. Y'all are dope.
Appreciate you guys as always. We've got some more Humper chats. See, we got 2 more from Tony P. He says, Saya's turn seemed odd, but I feel like something she wanted to do and embrace her inner mommy. Excited to see where it goes with Stardom. Seems like they're trying to reboot away from Rossi's vision. Cool story for her feeling betrayed by Tommy and the fans and being over it. Yeah, that was a very out of left field storyline coming out of the Stardom shows last week. Saya Kamatani turned and joined Oedo Tai, but now Oedo Tai is no longer Oedo Tai. It's
disbanded, right?
it's the same group. They just changed the name.
They
changed it to Hate.
Oh, okay.
And so effectively, Queen's Quest is done. All of the members of Queen's Quest have gone their separate ways. Utami's no longer in the company anymore. Of course, that's also the faction that Io Shirai famously started. And I feel like that cannot be a coincidence that Mari Gold held this big match where the Queen versus Queen stuff. And a big part of that was these were 2 former members of Queen's Quest. I feel like taking Queen Quest off the board so Mari Gold can no longer like play off that anymore had to be intentional.
Yeah.
And then when you look at all of the other stables from that same time period that are gone, of course, Tokyo Cyber Squad is effectively gone because Hannah tragically passed away. And Donna Del Mondo is gone because Julia left the company and she was the leader. So it's just crazy to think about all of these like formative factions are no longer there. The only big one that's left is Stars.
Is it? There's a reason? Like, do you think is it more like of this kind of like trying to create a new direction?
I think that Tony's probably right that they're trying to get away from Ross's vision of the company.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that stuff was happening during Ross's heyday.
Right.
And so I can see them trying to build up a newer version of Stardom. And with that, bringing up new units. I mean, they already have something with Micah and Mina and it's not Club Venus anymore. Venus Nexus or whatever it's called now.
I mean, I feel them though. If you're telling if the new company is telling stories off of the stories that we built, like, nah, let's fuck that, fuck all that.
It's just weird, man. It's just it's just weird to think about Stardom without Oedo Tai. Like,
yeah,
I mean, no Oedo Tai and no Queen's Quest. Like,
it's a new
weird
day
to think about. It'd be like right now looking at New Japan, and I mean, Chaos is basically gone because Okada's gone. There's no Chaos anymore. But I guess a better way to look at it is like if Bullet Club was just completely gone, it'd be like, what?
Like, what? What do you mean?
Bullet Club's been around for 10 years. It'd be like, hey, what do you mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what to make of the Saya heel turn either. She's just such a perfect baby face. All of her moveset and everything lends itself to a baby face. She does the big Phoenix splash and everything. And so I'm curious how she's going to change the way she wrestles for this persona. And even the way she looks now, she's doing like the golf girl and like the fishnet sleeves and everything. And I don't know if that fits her. We'll see.
Yep.
More from Tony P says some Western Joshi fans are mad, but when are wrestling fans really happy? I mean, no. Fat shaming Tora for winning. Mad Stardom is trying new things. Mad Marigold is doing swimsuit books. Wrestling fandom is cooked with personality replacing thoughtful discussion. I mean, I don't know why anybody would be surprised that Marigold is doing the swimsuit thing. That's such a big part of
It's a bit, yeah.
Joshi culture, and you got the same person that was behind Stardom, and Stardom used to do the swimsuit stuff. So I didn't think Rossi was just going to completely
like, you know, he's going to start doing the things that he's known for. You know, you're going to bring all of his little bits over here.
Yeah, I figured that was coming. But yeah, Tora's fine. I mean, it was an odd choice to put the belt on Tora out of nowhere and then completely change everything about Oedo Tai, but I don't think it's the end of the world. And I wouldn't have then turned that into a fat shaming thing. That's strange. But again, like Tony's saying, wrestling fans.
People are weird.
But I mean, it'll be fine. Either Hate is not going to do well. I don't really care for the name Hate, by the way. I think they could have came up with something more original. But again, well, it is what it is. We of course got the lineup as well for the 5-star Grand Prix. Anna Jay will be in it. Anna Jay just dropped her promo for it off of, and that was added to the press conference for the 5-star Grand Prix. I think that's dope. I think the lineup is dope. Tournament season is always fun. It's a lot of wrestling to keep up with, but it's always fun.
I'm tired.
See, we got one from Van Twinblade. He says, "Fuck Logan Paul. I need the locker room to shoot on his ass. The yuppie little bitch needs put in his place." All right. Okay.
Nobody's gonna shoot on him because a lot of them fools probably feel the same way.
Unfortunately, a good amount of them probably feel the same way, and WWE is very invested in this guy. So they're not gonna
like when people are like WWE should fire him. I'm like, yeah, all right,
no way, bro. They've got Prime all over everything now. His Prime is on the ring.
Prime logo's in the ring. It's gonna be in the ring tonight. Come on.
No, they're not. He's not going nowhere. They're very much invested in him.
Yep.
The last two from Arduid. He says, "Happy Grapsody, y'all. Real talk. Job Logan Paul out Saturday. Get his ass out of here." What people are not happy with this guy.
Not at all.
I am really
so.
I am really kind of tired of just sighing about outward transphobia in day-to-day life. Put down consequences for this shit. Like, I get it. Wrestlers have opinions. I think he means wrestlers that have opinions that suck, but I'm tired of pretending like giving transphobes an open platform isn't hurting people. I got friends who get threats for being themselves, and this fool just spit ignorance and stokes fire and pretends it's fine. Get him out. Now I agree, there should be consequences, but I just don't think that there will be.
There should 100%, like he should be. Something should happen to him. I have a lot of trans friends. Shout out to my trans friends, but like this is WWE. I don't care about that.
And yeah, that's a very real thing. The amount of trans deaths per year is a lot larger than people think. From trans people getting murdered,
they deal with hate crimes like you wouldn't even imagine.
Yeah, the suicide rate among them is also very high. So I don't.
And like they don't need this. They're trying to escape entertainment too and shit. And then like some fool is just being dumb. Like.
Yes, I don't think somebody with the following he has should be spreading that kind of misinformation. And Iman is not trans. She's not a man. She's a woman.
That's the main thing. It's
and
like,
so
how are we still here when they gave you the facts, Logan Paul? You dumb idiot.
Yeah. I don't.
But those people don't care about the facts. Again, they gave everything and they still ran with it.
No. So I don't. I agree. He should face consequences for it, but I would not hold my breath.
I don't think he will. The consequences will probably lose his championship, but he probably was going to lose the championship anyway.
But see, I don't really read that as a consequence because I think he's probably going to lose anyway.
Yeah, and win the WWE championship.
Oh God, please don't.
He's going to.
Please don't do that.
He's going to.
That is all of our Humper chats. Do we have any more super chats before we get up out of here?
That's all. Gotta hurry up before this pre-show starts.
Yeah, appreciate you guys as always. Appreciate you guys sending in your humper chats and your super chats. Appreciate you guys that just came and supported and added to the conversation. This has been Grapsody as always. We will be back in a few hours to host the SummerSlam post show.
Yes, sir.
Feel free to come and check us out. But you know what it is. This has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. This is Righteous Reg. We are out of here.